All right, it's time. Another week. ZTGD Radio. This is episode 761 for August 28th, 2023. And on the show this week, we've got Anthony.
Yep.
We got Jay back up in this...
feed blood to Grandpa?
There you go. We got Jay back up in this bitch.
Buongiorno.
We got Drew.
I'm here.
And we got Terrence.
What's up?
Who's not going to be paying any attention because he's going to be watching...
When you actually get
underwear.
like wood and stuff, like you can come off the ship.
Oh man, it's going to be a battle between Anthony and I think.
We've gone from best friends to enemies.
To enemies, to mortal soundboard enemies.
Y'all got like, does everybody eventually get one? Like get one big clip?
Everybody gets one. Yep, we got to get everybody one clip.
Alright, well, we'll get there eventually. Have to find something genuinely embarrassing. But anyway, it's time to talk about video games. It was a big week. Gamescom was this week, so there's a lot of news to kind of dive into.
Where is GTA 6?
Bill Clinton wants to know. I want you to know. Bill Clinton. We're in the age of remasters. We need remasters of Socks the Cat for Super Nintendo.
No.
Ooh.
Yeah, we do.
I don't even know.
No, we don't.
What is Fox the Cat?
It was his cat, and they made a video game about it. It's on Super Nintendo.
Was it even released?
I don't know if it was released, but I don't think
it was released.
I can play it.
The last thing I want to do is spend any time in the Clinton household.
I mean, why?
Because they're not good people. Why? Why would you not want to spend time with Bill Clinton? I don't know. He's kind of creepy, and I don't like Hillary either. So why the fuck would I want to be in the house?
I just want to hang out with him.
How do you know Bill Clinton's fucking cat's name?
Because that was a big thing.
Yeah, when I grew up, like he was in office, and like they talked about Socks the Cat, and it became like a meme, and there was like comics.
I grew up during
Socks
that
the
time,
cat rocks
and I
the
grew
hill.
up. I don't know any of the presidential freaking animals' names.
I mean, I know Joe Biden got the dog, right? What's his name?
I don't know.
Fuck. Oh, he bit the people in the White House.
Oh, I did remember reading about that.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name.
Hunter.
I just remember the dog. Ooh, probably. That's what it was. He was coming down and bit someone.
Man, the name of his dog is like right on the tip of my tongue. It's like Sarge or something, or
something
Commander.
like that.
Is it Commander?
No.
Is that the name of it? No.
Oh, fuck. I don't remember. But like
I'm just looking at Major.
Major. Oh yeah, I knew it was some kind of military thing. There it is.
Also, yeah, Socks the Cat rocks the hill. Don't worry, guys. There's a Richard Nixon enemy. I will say this: the sprite work is actually pretty good.
It's made by Kaneko.
Was that a real game? Like,
yes,
it was a real game.
Yeah,
that was
you can
canceled,
play it.
Yes.
Huh.
You'd be surprised what is a real game. There's also a Full House Tournament Fighter. That's a real game.
From the show?
Yeah.
You can fight with Uncle Jesse?
That one feels like a fan-made thing.
Oh, I mean, it probably is, but it exists. You can play it.
But Socks the Cat was real.
Well, I gotta pull
it was going to be an actual product sold in stores. Why? I don't know.
Full House Tournament Fighter. Yep, there it is.
That's
when Jesse
crazy.
does a move, he says "Have mercy."
All right.
To be honest,
does Dave Coulier have a cut it out?
Oh, you know he probably has to, right?
I was thinking more of like when you do a finisher on Dave Coulier, does Alanis Morissette come out?
Got him.
Anyway, let's kick this off. Drew, what do you got? What are you playing? That's my favorite game. Oh, I didn't know.
I played a little bit of Resident Evil 4 remake. I've been away for the past week. And I played nothing while I was in Florida.
Florida?
Uh-huh.
You didn't bring your Switch and play some more?
I brought my Switch and never turned it on. I don't know why.
That's how it always goes. I always think about I'm gonna bring my Steam Deck, I'm gonna bring my Switch to this thing, I'm gonna get a couple of good hours, it's gonna be great. Never even open the cases to get those things out. It happens every time.
Yep.
Yeah, I took my
instead
3DS
sat there and
once.
watched YouTube videos all night, pretty much.
Yeah, I took my 3DS on a work trip once, and I played a little bit of the Zelda game in like the terminal, and I never took it back out of my bag the rest of the trip.
Yeah, I mean, that's just welcome to adulthood,
No shit.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, but I played some Resident Evil 4 whenever I got back. That is a absolutely fantastic game. I would say I'm probably a little bit past halfway in that game. I don't know how many chapters there are. I'm in chapter 9.
16, right?
There's 16 chapters.
I
I'm a
believe
little bit
there's
past halfway.
16.
I'm going through like the hedge maze. I finished the hedge maze where the dogs will come out and jump back in, and you don't know where they are. Finished that part. That's a solid game. So the problem is, like, I put probably 2 hours into it. I did the hedge maze stuff, and then I put another hour into it because I ran him back into the merchant, and he had one of his wonderful shooting galleries. So I did that for like 30 minutes.
That thing is really fun to do as like a side game, and you get some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like the prizes you get for that stuff is really cool because then you can you get better bonuses and you can change out your case to get different stuff. There's so many small things in that game that break up the monotony of going corridor to corridor shooting dudes. This is a solid package, just like all around, just a fantastic package.
You played the original before, right, Drew?
Oh yeah, a long time ago.
What do you feel so far? I know that you haven't finished the new one yet, but do you feel like both games kind of stand alone, like side by side as their own entities, or do you think this remake kind of replaces the old one, or what's your take so far?
There's definitely a difference. In fact, I would go as far as to say that the remake feels slightly open worldish. They really do push the going back and go into an old area to do stuff. I feel like it's just a bigger package. There's more to do in this game. Tons of
Drew
more
loves
like
a bigger package.
I do. There's tons of like side quests to do. You can do the little quest for the merchant, and there's all these different collectibles and stuff. It's I don't know, man. Like to me, playing the remake, I have a newfound respect for Resident Evil 4 because I'll be honest with you, I like Resident Evil 4. I think it's a fine game. I don't think it's the best of the best Resident Evil game. I've never thought that.
Nope.
But I feel like I have a newfound respect for the game. I'm like, you know what? This is a solid entry into the series. It's a different entry into the series, and it's obviously something where they take it another step with Resident Evil 5 and then another step with Resident Evil 6. But Resident Evil 2 will be forever the GOAT for me. That's just the way it is. I mean, it's partially nostalgia, partially that remake is one of the best games ever made. I'm sorry, but it is.
Do you like the original RE2 better or the remake RE2 better?
I
like the remake better than the original.
Ooh, okay, all right. Okay.
I mean,
I'm down with that. They expand on
that.
it. They expand on it.
I have to say that. Yeah, I mean, the changes they made to Resident Evil 2, like Mr. X is chasing you throughout the entire campaign. The way they changed it up, where he's constantly there. He's constantly a threat to you. Because truth be told, like there was only a few like scripted sequences where Mr. X comes after you in Resident Evil 2 original, and it was only in the second campaign. He's there from the very beginning at the very first campaign in this one. God, I don't know. Like it's hard to describe.
You know what the best combo is? Resident Evil 2 remake with the Resident Evil 2 original soundtrack.
Yes.
So good.
I played it that way.
So good.
I can go on and on about Resident Evil 2 remake because just the way like how I played that game. I got it day one. A buddy of mine came over to my house. We sat down and played probably 6 hours of that game, like nonstop. Like I got off work at like 3:00. He didn't leave my place till like 11:00 that night. And we just sat down and did nothing but play that. And by the time he left my house, we hadn't finished the game. We both had the complete police department memorized. It was like, I know exactly where to go. Go through that door. You're going to end up back over here, the hallway. It was, and the way they have that game scripted, the map, everything like that is perfect. If it was a little bit bigger, it would be too much. If it was a little bit smaller, you'd feel like it was too short. It is the perfect pacing. That game is damn near perfect. It really is.
I agree 100%.
What they did with these remakes, Resident Evil 3 remake, we did the exact same thing. My buddy came over. We enjoyed our time with it. It's a different experience. Not as good of an experience, but that's just me for Resident Evil 3. And in Resident Evil 4, it feels like they have come up with a formula for Resident Evil remakes.
Yeah.
And they're just gonna keep molding it and making it better and better. I feel like every remake that has come out from a Resident Evil game is better than the original.
Oh, 100%. I mean, 3 wasn't hard, because the original 3 was like a Majora's Mask situation where it was like leftovers from Resident Evil 2.
Yeah.
So it was a very short and kind of one-note game.
Yeah.
But Resident Evil 4 was like changing the game, and the fact that the remake one-upped it was impressive.
So here's my question now: is where do they go from here?
They'll do 5. They won't
Veronica?
do. They won't do Code Veronica. I don't think Capcom treats Code Veronica like it's a Mega Man game, and they just don't want to deal with it.
Code Veronica's good though.
I understand where Ken's coming from, and I kind of get the sentiment the same way. But I really want them to do Code Veronica.
Oh, I absolutely do.
That game gets such a bad shake. It's such a great entry in the series.
Yeah,
it is.
I love Resident Evil Code Veronica. I remember the first time I played it on Dreamcast, and like the lights moving back and forth, and the light actually casting on the Dreamcast, and I'm like, God damn, this is good shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What I would like, though, when they remake their Code Veronica, I kind of want them to not make it into the third-person shooter formula that they have going. I want them to keep this one fixed camera, and then kind of do all the modern amenities that we're used to alongside that. Because I feel like
they'll do that.
Nah, they won't.
Yeah, I understand from like wide appeal, they probably should go third person, but as like a long time Resident Evil fan, all of us, right, from the very beginning, we've been there.
Day one.
So and we all consider Resident Evil Remake, the first one, to be one of the best in the series too, and that's fixed camera, and that's terrifying. It's one of the scariest games available. So I kind of want them to try something like that with Code Veronica, but I have a feeling they probably won't. But that's just my little hope as a longtime RE fan.
Yeah, I want that game back in the rotation because it's been forgotten. The last time it was released was when they did those HD versions on the 360 PS3. That was a long time ago.
Yeah. Oh yeah, very long.
Yeah. I was also reminded of Steve Burnside.
Oh, he is so bad. He is so bad in that game.
Horrible voice acting. Oh, it's so bad. But Resident Evil 4 remake, which is what I was playing. Solid package, really is. There's just a lot there. Looks fantastic. The interactions between Ashley and Leon are really good. I've ran into Ada a couple of times. They have some great chemistry too. It's really, really good. The only thing I can tell is that they have obviously removed a ton of the QuickTime events. Now, I would say for the better. I'm curious of how they handle the Krauser fight.
Yeah.
We're not going to say anything, but just wait, man. You won't be disappointed.
Because the Krauser fight was all QTEs.
Yeah, just wait till you get there. It's also crazy. Every time you talk about Resident Evil 4, something in my brain like ignites. That game came out this year.
Yes.
It feels like it was 2 years ago because of how much crap has come out this year.
Boss, think about this. Resident Evil 4 Remake, which is Game of the Year potential, came out the same year as Dead Space Remake, which is also Game of the Year material.
Alongside Zelda, Baldur's Gate. Starfield's on the wheel. Spider-Man's
Mortal
coming.
Kombat.
Mortal Kombat.
Spider-Man. Dude, like, we have been eating really good.
Yeah, and what's crazy is like this. It's not even just the AAA shit. The indie shit's been great too.
Yeah, dude, there's so many indie games that I want to play that I have like wrote down that I'm like, I want to try these out. But I'm like, I have so much to do right now. Like, you know, like I really, really want to try Dredge a lot. Like that. I know, Jay, you played that, right?
I did. I actually finished it. It was great. It's one of those games where it's not going to change your life, but it's just like a really comfy, cool experience that you can go through in like 8 to 9 hours or something like that.
Yeah.
So relatively on the short side, but pretty cool actually.
I
really want to try
on-
that.
I got 2 on mine. I want to play through Bramble. People keep comparing Bramble to Inside, and I want to play that. And and every week we talk about Gravity Circuit. I want to play that, and I ain't had a chance to.
The one that Terrence played, that was kind of like the chill game where you play as the diver. What was the name of that
Dave
game?
the Diver? Is that
Dave the Diver.
baby.
I heard that that's like an indie game of the year right there.
Yep, 100%. Well, we're gonna talk about Sea of Stars, but Dave the
There's
Dave
yet
the
another
Diver
one.
is so good.
Yeah.
So that's the thing is like I want to try all these games and I don't have the time.
We all collectively fake each other's deaths, right? And then we just gather together in a cabin where we can rent, and we just game for about 6 to 10 years, and we'll be caught up with everything that's come out this year and the previous years, and we'll be good to go.
There you go.
That's very true. That's about what we'll have to do.
Yeah. Can we just cancel 2024's releases so we can just finish
Right.
2023?
Man.
Yeah.
Goodness.
And then other than that, a couple of weeks ago we played Baldur's Gate 3 together, and that is a really good game.
We back this week, Drew. Everyone good for this week?
I think I'm good for Tuesday. Yeah.
Terrence?
Yeah.
All right, we're back, baby. All right, nice.
Okay.
Yeah, I won't
But
be
yeah,
there. Sorry.
That's pretty much it for me.
All right. I'll kick it over to Anthony.
Yeah, I finished the DLC for Case of the Golden Idol. Gonna be honest with you, the DLC, I didn't enjoy the DLC. It's only 3 cases, but it's a lot of information, and it's not. I just didn't feel as interesting or as well crafted as the main game. It's more of the main game, but like it's just there's so much like so many different words to collect that I'm just like, yeah, I didn't enjoy it. Last week while we were doing the podcast, I modded my 3DS, so that was hey, look, I can finally play English patched ROMs of the DS games I own. Like, I have the Chibi Robo DS game that is Japanese only, so I booted that up, and it's just nice to be able to actually play those finally in English without having to like use an actual emulator. So Ace Attorney Investigations 2 will be happening at some point, which is cool.
Ooh, very nice. You never played that one?
No, I have not.
Good stuff.
And then I've been on a Yu-Gi-Oh kick, which is kind of what sent me down that fucking rabbit hole anyways of modding my 3DS. So I'm just playing I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh multiple ways. I started up the DS ones, but I'm also playing the Switch game where you go through the battles of the end.
Yu-Gi-Oh games, Anthony? I know there's like tons and tons of them.
So
are they generally good or mediocre?
So that's another thing. I've been on a kick of watching people go through the old Yu-Gi-Oh games because give me 1 second. I think his name is Game Boy Lad. I just want to make sure I have his.
Is that the one that you sent me? That
was
playing that. Okay, yeah. I think that is
Chef of Destruction. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's been going through old ones and doing 30 to a minute. I think one of them's 2 hours breakdowns because the original Yu-Gi-Oh games came out before the card game all the rules were in place. So they use the cards, but they don't use the cards properly. So there's a good period of like, if you play a Yu-Gi-Oh game, like I don't know what rule set they're using, but it is not the one that they use in Japan or in America. Which is another thing I learned, that there's OCG rules and TCG rules, which is just fucking weird. And now there's a new thing called speed duels. But if you want a decent, if you played the traditional Yu-Gi-Oh games, the DS games, starting with Nightmare Troubadour onwards, are pretty much just battle simulators. So they're just virtual versions of the card game. The one that I'm playing on my Switch is Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist Link Evolution. That one goes through all of the animes and all of the battles in them. And you can choose to play with a custom deck, or you can choose to play with the decks those characters were using at the time. And so it's almost like a puzzle game in that sense. But as someone that played Yu-Gi-Oh! And bought way too many cards at one point, I like playing the game more than I like collecting the cards. So like the virtual versions are perfect for me. And the like depending on the one you're playing, so like the one on the Switch, and it's also on like Xbox and PC, is just a very basic sort of setup. But like the DS ones for a while would show you the monsters above the card, just like they were shown in the anime. So like the virtual version of them and stuff. So I have a lot of what's it called, nostalgia for certain aspects of it.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, like the card game itself is really good. Especially coming to now, I've never played Magic, but I've talked to someone that has, and I said, do they have different win conditions? Sorry?
No, I said we should play Magic. Go ahead. Sorry, because there's a digital version. If
it's not like me shelling out money for card.
No, you don't have to.
Magic Arena
really
is completely free, and they're really generous with their packs.
Okay,
they're
cool.
Really generous.
I might try, because learning that, like, so I actually played the Pokemon TCG back in the day.
I played some of that too.
I played that too. Yeah,
but there's no different win condition in Pokemon. It is very much a translation of what the battles were in the games to just a card game.
Magic's kind of the same way. I mean, you reduce your health, but there are other ways to win. Like,
and there's not really other ways to win in Pokemon like there are in Magic, apparently, and Yu-Gi-Oh! So the one thing that I've been kind of learning watching the videos is like having win conditions built into your deck. Sometimes it's just drawing the right cards. Sometimes it is just doing enough damage to knock all the health points out. Some of them are literally just stall decks, where you are just holding out so the other player draws their last card and loses.
Yeah. That's a mill deck in Magic.
That's a mill deck. Fucking hate
God,
mill
I
decks.
hate mill decks.
They're so cheap and annoying.
Yeah. God,
so I've been really into that, and what happened was last weekend I was gonna go and buy, like, a local used store had a copy of the DS games, but it was like $40, and no one's making money off of it. So I said, you know what, I'll mod my 3DS and put them on there. If they were still selling it, but like, so what I did was to kind of offset the fact that I was buying or just downloading ROMs for games I wasn't buying. I did go, and I haven't tried it yet, but I looked up, I picked up Yu-Gi-Oh! Rush Duel for the Switch because it was on sale. And apparently that's a different set of rules where people start off with like 4,000 health points rather than 8,000. And the decks are only like 30 cards. And lo and behold, that's a thing that they're doing in real life, where they reprint all these classic cards, but have changed some of the effects, I guess. And like, if you look at the card, it says Rush Duel on it. It really fascinating where a franchise goes after I've sort of, clocked out.
Yeah, Magic kind of did that too. They added like the commander decks after I had stopped playing, and that was kind of like a fan made version of the game. And then Wizards of the Coast basically was like, yeah, we'll just go ahead and make a version of that game.
I hear Commander is actually the preferred way to play nowadays, like in terms of popularity.
A lot of people like to play Commander. I'm not a big fan of it.
Me either. I don't know how. Like, to be fair, like, I'm waiting because I don't think it's in Arena yet. They have that alchemy thing, but I don't think it's the same thing. But yeah, I'm not. But it's apparently, that is the preferred way, because when you go to Friday Night Magics, if you
everybody's playing Commander decks,
that's what they're playing. Everybody's playing Commander. Like, you can barely find people to play just a regular, the regular version.
I don't collect any of the cards, but my friend is big into them, so he like makes commander decks and stuff like that. And I know the basic rules enough to play the decks that he creates. I played a couple. Commander's pretty interesting. I like the concept. I think I like it better than the regular Magic the Gathering, to be honest with you. When you're playing against like 4 people and stuff like that, it's pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean it does allow for multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that I do think is cool because it is typically like groups, like big, like people around playing. So that is cool. But yeah, I don't know. If they put it in the digital version, I'll probably get into it.
Well, I
That's
might
how I
download the
play.
digital version.
You should
and give it a
yeah,
shot.
man.
No, Arena's
It's really
legit.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't have to buy the cards. Although they almost had me. I'll be honest. I know they're doing a bunch of crossover shit now, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But their first one that like really had me was like Godzilla. Because I'm eternally 4 in my head, and anything that's Godzilla, no matter how bad it is, I'm like, I kind of want to own it, which is the reason why I own the PS4 game. But thankfully, I didn't pay the $200 it goes for now.
No
You
kidding.
can get some of those.
That
in
game
Arena.
sucks.
Those Godzilla
That
cards.
was my point, Ken. It
Oh,
is a
it's
bad
so
video game.
bad.
That
I have it
Godzilla
digitally.
game is bad.
Yeah, I have it
Yeah.
digitally on PS4, and it is so bad.
No, it's not a good game. If you have a PS4, War of the Monsters is like $10. Play that. That's a better Godzilla game.
So
Ugh.
yeah, what Terrence was hitting at was that like in a Magic Arena, Magic is one of those communities where like the current, and then the past 6 sets are what's called like the active play, and then they have legacy play, which is where you can play any cards you want. And if they have an event, like a crossover event with like Lord of the Rings right now is going on, like that's like legit what the cards are being played right now. So you can get all those cards in Magic Arena. You can do that, and all the rules and stuff too.
They just release one card of the ring and Post Malone bought it.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2.5 million.
Stupid.
There was
Did you see the video of the dude that when he opened it, like his hand shaking?
Yeah.
Like,
man.
That dude's a millionaire now.
Hey, good for him.
Congratulations.
Good for him, dude.
Yeah.
It's one of those like, holy fucking shit, this fucking game is sold on it's a lottery. There's upcoming
original
ones
gotcha
too.
game.
Just to
100%.
just to just kind of springboard back into video games. They're actually doing a Fallout set.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's
a Warhammer crossover that I think they started the show. I think they started
that
to show
one's
some
weird
from it.
That one's weird because like it's Wizards of the Coast teaming up with Games Workshop.
Yeah. Some of the crossovers, it's like the cards are just like special cards, so they take an existing one and just change it over. Like the Godzilla one is like that. So it's an existing monster set. They just change the name of the card to Godzilla.
Yeah,
so
I don't care. Godzilla.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was just tell you how it works. But yeah, so yeah, you should get into it. Like I forgot Drew played. Like we could run some Magic tournaments and stream that. Like,
they really like especially nowadays they get kind of hardcore with the rules because like a new set will come out. Like the Lord of the Rings set has like a whole rule set with like you have a character who's the ring bearer and every time the ring like tempts you have to do something to your deck and stuff. It's like there's tons of like different rule sets and stuff like that, and you can mix match cards. So I can have a deck that has some Lord of the Rings stuff in it while the person I'm playing against has some cards from the Forgotten Realms set that they have where you can straight up go into like a dungeon and find treasure and bring it back up with you and stuff. It's crazy.
This is how the
last time
starts.
I have hella of cards from the D&D set.
God, just try a little crack. Really I'm like, okay.
No, it's so good. It's so good.
Anyways, that's it for me. I Yu-Gi-Oh and finishing stuff, and then we went to Magic the Gathering.
All right.
Now he has a new addiction.
I mean, you just move from one to the next. It's fine.
I think at this age, once you become an adult, that's just how it works.
Yeah, you're like, I got more money than time now, as opposed to being a kid when you had more time than money.
I still see the I think it was a 4chan post or something like that where they said, "Hey, I'm afraid my kid's getting into drugs. What should I do?" And they say, "Get him into Magic the Gathering. He'll never have any time for himself." and he won't ever have any money to buy drugs because he'll be buying cards.
Facts. Oh my God. I had to stop playing the paper one because it's too expensive. Because I was buying boxes of cards at a time when the different expansions would come out. And then they came out with, and Drew, you know this, like the different versions. So there's like the standard card, then there's like the collector's version. You can get a collector's pack, which is like less amount, but you get like better looking cards.
Yeah, they're all
get, like,
foil.
gold trim. Yeah, they're all like foil and fancy. And the boxes for like a single box of them joints is almost $300. And it's like 15 packs. And I'm like, Jesus. Like they doing a lot with Magic. Like it's serious.
They do too much in my book. I think
they
what they're trying to
definitely
do with the anniversary and the fact that so many cards go out of rotation so quickly because of how quickly they reset, release sets to the standards and stuff like that. It's the amount of money sink if you actually want to be like up to date and actually compete is ridiculous in my book. But hey, there is still a lot of enjoyment to be had though. The games are fun.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, Arena is the best way to get into it if you just because it's the cheapest.
Absolutely,
it's a lot of fun. So yeah.
All right, well, we'll move on to Terrence, who I know has one of the several big games this week.
I do indeed. Yes, I have Sea of Stars. I've been so excited to talk about this game. So, Sea of Stars is an RPG. That is, I think it started as a Kickstarter. Actually, it was a Kickstarter RPG. So it's made in the same vein of the Super Nintendo, like Chrono Trigger, Breath of Fire, those old school RPGs. The kind of elevator pitch for the plot is it involves three friends, Dale, Valerie, and Garl, and you start off as kids, and Dale and Valerie were born in the solstice, which means that they can become solstice warriors. And one of them was born under the lunar, one of them was born under the solar, so one of them has like moon powers, the other has solar powers. Garl is just a plain old kid who's their friend. Well, the kids go into this dungeon saying, oh, we can prove ourselves to the headmaster, and they'll let us in the thing. And, fast forward, things go awry. Garl gets hurt, almost killed. Instead, he ends up with a cool scar over his eye, which I've always wanted.
I can make that happen for you.
I mean, I was about to say, we can make that happen.
Let me tell you something. I've had many offers. I can make that happen. And I'm like, you know what? But no, I don't want to go blind in that eye. If we could do it so that I have it, but I'm not blind. But anyways, he has a cool scar over his eye. And the headmaster's like, oh, okay, y'all two did do something big, so we're going to train y'all, but it's going to take years to become a solstice warrior. You ain't never going to see your friend again. And they're, of course, sad, and they're like, oh, my God. And Girl's like, well, it's okay, man. Y'all go I'm paraphrasing, of course. It didn't sound this cool. Y'all go ahead and get your learning on, and I'm going to be out here, and I'm going to do my learning, and we'll hook up later in life. Years go by. They get sent out on their first mission. By happenstance, Girl was following them. They all reunite. Hooray. And the adventure begins. So the Solstice Warriors fight this wizard, or that is known as the Fleshmancer.
The Fleshmancer.
This is the Fleshmancer. So
like
that's what the big bad is. It definitely is. That's the big bad that you're out to destroy. Along the way, you're gonna meet some pirates. You're going to get to control the pirate ship. Is in the old school games you always had like an airship or something like that was dope. And it's a pirate ship that allows you to sail around the world. I initially
when you actually are getting like wood and stuff, like you can come off the ship.
Good job. I hate it here. Anyway, I initially thought that it was going to be like Star Ocean and it was going to be space based. It's not. Sea of Stars has a different meaning that's kind of spoilerish that I won't go into. But yeah, you end up with the pirate ship. It has a lot of different side activities. You can go fishing. You can hang out in a tavern and hear like stories about different stuff, and you can try to find treasures and stuff out in the world.
Treasure.
One of the things that I loved about it was the traversal in it. So it's like it's a 2D game, pixels and stuff, sprites, all that jazz, just like Chrono Trigger is the best example. But you can jump down, you can swim, you can, shimmy across lines, you shimmy across cliffs. Like it has a lot of different traversal elements that you wouldn't expect necessarily from a 2D game. I think some of these some of the old ones used to do some of this, but to this extent, like they took it to the next level, which is really cool. The combat also is super dope. So you have this new, well, that's not really a new thing. I think a lot more games have been doing it, where you have an attack and then you have a timing game where you have to hit A at the right time and you'll do more damage. So it has that system in place. And then when you hit an enemy, you will release off of them live magic. So you can superpower your attacks, which I think there was another game that did this. Travelers? No. What's it called? Can't remember. But like, so you can pull in this mana into your attack, which you'll like glow super, look like you went Super Saiyan, and it'll further power that attack. So if you hit that A at the right time, you'll get, even more damage. And that also will do elemental damage to them. So if you're Zale and you pull that in, that's going to add solar damage to your attack. If you're Valor and you pull that in, that's going to add lunar damage. If you're, Garl, you just get, bludgeon damage because he's a brawler and ends up being like the tank. And there's other characters you're going to meet along the way as well, which I won't even go into because it's kind of spoiler-y. Yeah, so, and the magic system is, as you do physical damage, you get your magic points back. So when you do their super attacks, their normal like magic attacks that they have, you'll expend that magic energy. So you just have to hit them with the normal attack and you'll get a couple of points of that back. So it's kind of that give and take with that. And then you'll also earn combo points, which you'll get combo points up to 3, during a fight. And they do not carry over from fight to fight. So you use those, in a fight. Even if it's one guy and you're like, well, damn, that's a waste, just go ahead and pull it off because it's not going to go with you. So you might as well. But you'll do different combos between different characters. Some of them are healing, some of them are damage, some of them are shields. And then
when you actually are getting like wood and stuff,
I didn't mean to play
come
that.
off the ship.
I hit my
You're a damn
keyboard.
lie.
I hit my
You're a damn
keyboard.
lie. The big thing about this is, and I talked about this in the review, is the accessibility. So it has what's called relics, and these relics will do various things. You'll come across some in the world just exploring, but there'll be others, even if you don't find them, when you get to a town and get to a shop, it'll be available in the shop for you to buy. So they don't really make it so that you miss these entirely. But these relics can do things from healing you completely after each fight and raising your level like to max HP. So if your standard level HP is say 30 and you use this relic and turn it on, it'll max out your HP to like 150. And after every fight, it'll heal you to 100%. Instead of keeping you damaged. There's ones that will reduce damage by X amount of percentage when enemies do different attacks. There's ones that will make it more obvious for you, the player, when you pull off the timing mini game, because that works both ways, which I didn't say. It works on defense and offense. So if you're about to get hit, you hit A in the right time, you'll deflect that damage. If you turn this relic on, it'll like shoot this star up that makes it really obvious that you did it right. Because if not, you just kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, that was a reduced number. And there's a bunch of other ones, but the point is you can kind of pick and choose how you want to play this game, and it doesn't penalize you as far as making you wear a red sash or making you look like a chicken or anything like that. So it wants you to play the game. So you have the tools there for some flexibility, which is really cool in an RPG for sure. But yeah, I had a couple of bugs and glitches where I jumped down into what should have been water, and I fell through the world and was basically running around on foot and couldn't get out, and I had to restart the game. There was a couple of things like that, and it was all traversal based when I ran into errors, but a simple restart, it fixed it. I never lost progress because even though there are save points, like every other RPG, the game does auto save at different points too, which was nice. So when I ran into those glitches, it was always at auto save.
So you can't save. You can't save anywhere then.
You cannot. No, you can't save anywhere. Yeah, there is a book that you can go to.
The other question: you eventually, how many people can you have in a party at one time?
So there's 3 people in a party, but you actually have access to everybody because you can once you get I think there's 8 people you end up with in total. Once you have everybody, the last little command thing that you can choose from is swap, and you can swap to any of your other people at any time. So even if you started with say Zale, Garl, and Val, you can switch and bring in the other person and take out Val, and then at any time.
Can
So
you swap and immediately take action, or do you get like rested and then you can take only actions after you swap?
so each person gets a turn. So if you swap, yes, you can immediately take an action. So
Okay, all right, cool.
if you just did an action with someone, then obviously you'd have to wait till next turn to swap with them. But yeah, if you swap, you can immediately take an action with them.
Okay.
Yep.
So here's the other
Nice.
question. You have 3 active party members. You've got what you said 8 party members. So you got 5 in the hopper, right?
Mhm.
Do they all get experience points?
Yes, everybody gets experience points.
If
across the board.
somebody falls in battle and you finish that battle without reviving them, do they get experience points?
Yes, because I actually
Okay.
did test that. I didn't put that in the review. Good catch. I forgot to put that in. Yes, they do.
That's a very, very specific question, Drew. But I know where you're getting
that
at.
is, I am an old man. I do not have the time. Like the biggest thing for me, I go into a boss fight, right?
Mhm.
I have 3 active party members. One of them dies during the boss fight. The dead person doesn't get experience points. I just beat a boss. You get a shit ton of experience points for beating a boss, and that one party member is now forever behind. It pisses me off. I'm too old for that. I don't have the time for it. Just give me the experience points. We won the fight. He's not dead. He's just knocked out. We'll wake him up. Okay?
I feel it. So the nice thing about this is if they fall in combat, so say you're in a boss fight and your guy falls and you're still fighting and you don't have anything to revive them, they get back up. They're not dead in this. They literally are knocked out. So they'll have 2 stars revolving around their head. They'll revive after 2 turns and they'll come back, get back up with 5 or 10 health or something like that.
It sounds like Lost Odyssey.
Yeah, actually, yep. Yeah, it's it's very approachable for an RPG, and I feel you with being an old man because I use some of these relics because I ain't got the time to be Ryan out here for 100 hours, leveling up and stuff. So it's. You should definitely check it out. Like it's definitely going to be accessible with with your schedule and everything you got going on, and you never feel like I'm cheating the game or anything like that, or I'm playing above what the game is throwing at me or something. Like I never felt super leveled even using the little stuff that I used, or super powered I should say. So it's definitely worth looking. And I'm gonna tell you, I gave it a 10. Like like I said with the game of the year, even with the issue, like the story, oh my god, the music. Oh, the music is so good in this game. Like the battle music, and it's the type where it flows from where you're venturing along and you see an enemy, the fight's happening right there. There's no transition, no swirl. Like everybody just jumps out and we fight, like wherever you run into them at. And then the music will go from what it's playing into the battle music, and then wherever you finish the fight, the music it'll have like a finisher with that battle music, and then go back into the rest of the soundtrack. It's hard to describe, but it's super sweet. Like to hear it, like the game is so good. Like I cannot recommend it enough for RPG fans. And game of the year this year, I'm telling you, is just ridiculous. Because Dave Diver is out there because that's a very good game, and Sea of Stars is excellent. And I hope this studio gets all their kudos and everything because they did their thing. And I think Ryan might be the only one that played The Messenger and was really loved it. But yeah, this is an excellent follow up from that.
Very nice. I'm as you know, I'm a big RPG fan, so I'm in 100% day one.
Yep, yeah, I think you're like, and it's on Game Pass too, right? So that's that's a plus.
It's on Game Pass and PS Plus.
Yeah, PS Plus as well. Yep.
Oh, that's right. Everybody, ain't no excuse. Play Sea of Stars. Oh, it's so good. Oh man, it's so good. But yeah, so outside of that, I played some more Texas Chainsaw, fed some blood to Grandpa. And I'm just, I'm really waiting on Starfield for real.
It's Friday for the premium whatever peoples.
Yep, I'm ready. I got it installed on my computer, all 735 gigabytes of it.
I think
it's not that big, but it's big.
I think our reviews go live Thursday. I think.
Nice.
The 31st, I believe, is when the review embargo is up. So, yeah, I gotta write that this week.
We should predict what that review score is going to be
well,
on.
I have to abstain.
Aggregate.
Sorry.
Well, yes, you do. But for everyone else, because I'm curious about because that doesn't really tell us anything per se, because it's just guesswork. But at the same time, it's educated guesswork on people, based on our inner knowledge and also, on our expectations, right? So I'm curious where people will land on that in terms of what they're expecting the game to be like.
I expect it to be redacted.
I mean, I expect it to be at least, I think, I'm gonna be conservative and say 88 is where Metacritic score.
88 at least.
Yeah. I think. Well, no, it'll be higher. I'm just saying I'm gonna aim low because I honestly, based on what I've heard,
wow.
I'm
watch what you
low.
say, you shit.
Well, I talk to a lot of people. Hold on now. I'm just saying. It's I mean, there's a lot of stuff online too that you can read and see. Like 88 is where I'm gonna land.
Wow.
Okay. Anybody
Well,
else
Jay,
want to?
You thinking higher?
I'm thinking 80.
80.
Oh wow!
No,
Wow!
you get me for 88.
That's where I'm at.
80.
Wow! Okay.
That's a big difference, Aaron. 8 points. That's huge. Actually.
That's like according to the internet, that's like pretty good to shit, right?
Yeah, basically unplayable, right?
Yeah.
80 points out of 100. Yeah.
80 is an
Nowadays,
unplayable mess of a game, and Xbox should go, be third party.
If you hate a video game, you give it a 7.
That's
how it works.
Yeah, numbers 1 to 5 don't exist. It's all 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Those are the only numbers.
Yeah, that's how it works nowadays.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of floating around with Terrence here. I say 85 up.
Okay.
I don't agree with it, but I don't know. I don't know how much marketing they've done. We're not in the point where people can start talking about it, right? Like publicly.
Yeah,
and that's when you find out who's. Hold on. That's when you find out who's been paid for, who's gotten the chairs and the gloves, and all the little shit that they did with Fallout 4. So I could totally see it being this game's so good, it's a 92, and then you play it and you're like, okay, it's a 92 to people that really like this and are okay with it staying stagnant.
Well, see, that's what I think from it too. That's why I feel like, and based on the videos and the leaks because I know y'all don't appreciate leaks. Like I've looked at a lot of them. I'm hyped for this game, and I'll tell you right now, I would probably give it a 10, but that's just me. I think at 88. I think that's where it's going to land, because I don't think it's going to be, the second.
The overhype, I think, is going to work against it in terms of you asked the question. I think in terms of the amount of advertising they've done too much. It's excessive amount of advertisement,
right?
In terms of this game, everyone.
If we're going for user score, I see that being far more accurate, unfortunately, in this particular scenario.
Possible. I think user scores.
You say that, but I mean, there could be a PlayStation 5 only owner who's going to give it a 0.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, I understand that. But what I'm saying is, if you actually start looking at what people, because Fallout 4 got great scores from most places. But is Fallout 4 as good as New Vegas? As good as Fallout 3?
Most people tell me no. I don't.
I don't think it is. There's certain elements that I think were good choices, and then there's shit like, why don't you build a fucking house? I don't want to build houses. That is not why I come to Fallout. I do not come to do the things that I would do in Harvest Moon in Fallout. And so I could see, and it was funny because, like, to give them credit, like, Giant Bomb was very critical of Fallout 4. And then a bunch of people were critical about Giant Bomb, and then you saw, like, oh, they have the Pip-Boy sitting there and stuff. So it's like, to me, this is one of those games where I don't know, like, I can trust the review from our site because I can go and talk to the person writing it. I can't trust everybody else because, like, that's their job, right? Like, there's certain people on this podcast do not like online, who their job is not to be reviewers. Their job is to be hype men, but then they put out a review and it skews the score.
Right.
Well,
I build that community.
I can tell you this. I reviewed Fallout 4, Fallout 76, and Fallout New Vegas.
Wow.
I gave Fallout New Vegas 7.5. And the reason why was because when that game launched, it was broken.
Oh, so buggy, yeah.
I could never finish that game. I gave Fallout 4 an 8.5.
That is fine.
Which means I hated it.
I think 8.5, I would probably go an 8.
Yeah.
New Vegas, obviously, when it launched, I understand. If you were to go back and do it after patches and all the DLC is out, that game is a 9. And then if you look at that from the Fallout 4 perspective, I would say with all the DLC, that game drops a whole 0.5 points because most of it is not quality DLC. There's like 2 things, and only one of them's actually really good.
And as far as Fallout 76 goes, I gave that a 4.
And need I remind you guys that was the last Bethesda game studio game that they've released. People seem to forget about that. It's like, oh, it's going to be great. You know, Fallout 4 wasn't great, but, you know, it's still pretty good. And then they forgot about the whole Fallout 76 debacle being one of their worst rated games of all time. And so they're like, oh, they're coming hot off of that. So it's I don't know where these expectations are coming from, honestly.
It's weird because at that time Bethesda was in that, like, they ruined Wolfenstein with that, they ruined Fallout with that whole.
The Wolfenstein one hurts me the most.
Yeah, it's like they were going through that whole, like, we need to do this service game shit, and none of it worked in Bethesda's style of games. None of it.
And for context, Elder Scrolls V Skyrim was reviewed by Ken. He gave it an 8. And that was supposed to be the game of the year that year.
I know I've said it, and I don't want to keep saying it, but, like, I did not like Skyrim as much as I liked Oblivion.
They're very different games. I prefer Skyrim over Oblivion, if you ask me.
Because fun.
Going back to Oblivion now is just bad. It's hard.
Oh, it's a janky piece of shit. Don't get me wrong. But, like, there was more fun to be had, I thought, in Oblivion than there was in Skyrim. Like, Skyrim comes from the fun came from, like, how often you heard the same bloody lines and cheese wheels rolling down hills and horses climbing them. And
I like, of the Elder Scrolls games, Morrowind is my favorite, at least from what I played. And I played that way after I played Oblivion and Skyrim. And I went back to that with, like, a little modernized mod and had an absolute amazing time. All the different, like, quests and different things that you could do with the story and the characters. It was great. A lot of stuff that was missing in Skyrim, especially, which that game felt so, like, copy-pasted in so many locations. But I understand why people liked it. You know, it's one of those games that seemed pretty big.
I will say this, and this is just me as a person who has not played Starfield and has heard very little about Starfield. I will say Bethesda's been working on this game for a very long time. I think this may be the most polished game that they've released.
I hope so, man. I really do.
I think it will be. Will it be the be-all, end-all? Probably not. Bethesda still has their own quirks. You know, they're not the best at side quests. They never have been. I'm not expecting The Witcher 3. Because Witcher 3, I've said it a million times, their side quests in The Witcher 3 feel like main story quests in any other RPG.
I'm just going to continue to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5.
I understand you can't say anything because you are playing it and you are reviewing it, correct?
It is me, yes. So me and Wombat are both playing it. He didn't feel like he would have enough time to get through it, so I'm going to do which also, like he said in chat, it's probably better that I do it because I'm not a fanboy of Bethesda's games. So
Sure.
I think it's still
Yeah,
a
I'm not.
valid viewpoint, as long as you lay it out at the very beginning. Hey, this is my experience. I'm a big fan, and then if you go in with that expectation, people reading will understand where you're coming from. So I think
it reminds
fair.
me of if you remember the video for what was that, Fallout 3, where the reviewer got the copy and he was like dancing on a stream or something.
It's that type of stuff that I was kind of pointing out, was like that. How could you possibly review that game with any semblance of like? Listen, I'm not one of those people that buys into the reviews are objective. That's complete bull.
Yeah.
But like, you are showing no objectivity. Like, it's that type of stuff that led into like people being told like Fallout 4 is the best game ever, and then people that played Fallout 4 went, I don't know, this isn't really what I come to this series for.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I mean, I get that, and I mean, when Street Fighter V came to my inbox, I did a little jig, and I still gave Street Fighter V a 5.
Yeah, when you're a fan of something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say I tore into Mortal Kombat with that fucking skin shit and jewel shit in that review.
Yeah.
Like, everybody expected me to come out of that with a 10, and it so certainly did not.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have integrity. I mean, yeah, I was really excited. I mean, Street Fighter's like my game, and that sucked. That really sucked, and I was not going to. I was not going to stand for that. So I mean, it is what it is. Like have I gave high scores to games that probably shouldn't in retrospect? Absolutely, but yeah. I mean, you gotta think about the mindset whenever you go into it. So
Call of Cthulhu.
Call of Cthulhu was my mistake. Dark Souls 2 was my mistake.
Wait, well, the Call of Cthulhu Dark Corners of the Earth, or which one?
No, the new one.
I like the old one.
Don't play the new one.
Yeah,
Okay.
don't play the new one. Don't play the new one.
All right. We need to move on because I know Jay's got a big game too, and I've got a couple big games. So, Terrence, did you have anything else you were talking about?
Nope, I'm done.
Okay, we'll move on to Jay then. I know he's got the big robot.
Okay. Yeah, before I get to the big robot, I'm going to touch upon a couple of things that I've been playing. I'm not going to go into it much because I'm sure you guys have talked about it before. Final Fantasy 16, I'm still going through it. It's too many games, like reviews and other stuff coming through, so I've kind of put that on the back burner time and time again, but I'm having a great time. I think it has some flaws in the whole exploration and performance aspect of the game. I'm sure Ken has already talked about that in the past, but in regards to the story, the characters, the pure spectacle of it all, I think this is probably one of the best in gaming, not just in Final Fantasy, but just ridiculous. The kind of hype moments that are within this game is quite incredible. So I'm looking forward to finishing it. I'm sure it's going to go out with a bang. Play more Baldur's Gate 3. When you play a game for 105 hours to completion, and then the next immediate thing that comes to your mind as you watch the credits roll is that I really want to load a save from 50 hours ago and see if I can do something different, then you know you're playing something really special there. So that's what I did with Baldur's Gate 3. I did an entirety of Act 2 over again from scratch because I missed so many things, and there were a lot of consequences to actions that I wasn't aware of. So I redid all of that, and it felt like I saw so much new content, despite the fact that I've already beaten that chapter before with the same party setup. So it was pretty incredible. Very much looking forward to going back to the multiplayer game with the guys Tuesday, right, guys? Tuesday?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that's gonna be fun. I might have to reroll my character, but we'll see. Let's see. I also want to highlight the Master Detective Raincoat. Drew, have you heard of this game yet, or have I talked to you about it at all?
I've heard you on the podcast talk about it, but I have not actually looked at it.
Did I talk about it on the podcast? Really?
I think you did the last time you were on.
Oh, okay. I feel like that was a couple months ago.
Or are you confusing that with Paranorma Site?
Oh, I think you might be thinking Paranormal Site. That was ages ago compared to Master Detective.
Yeah,
Review
I
was
don't
went
think
out a couple weeks ago.
he's talked about this.
Okay.
Okay. So, Drew, I know you love them Danganronpa games, and this is basically a spiritual successor to Danganronpa in a lot of different ways, which are very interesting. It doesn't play the same kind of way because you're playing as like a detective solving multiple different mysteries and stuff like that, but there are some like neat paranormal elements to it, which I think is pretty well done. It's got the same kind of dark humor and a lot of the gameplay elements in regards to trying to find out the truth in like very inventive ways and stuff. So if you're a fan of Danganronpa, I highly recommend you check out Master Detective Raincoat. I had a good time with it, even though it's only on the Switch and kind of performs like crap. But what are you gonna do, right? Let's see. Lastly, I want to highlight the series that I kind of got involved with, or kind of started off checking out, called Fear and Hunger. Any of you guys heard about it?
Oh.
Nope.
Yeah, it's an RPG Maker game.
Yeah, it's one of those RPG Maker games.
I've watched videos on it, and I was like, wow, these are like really well thought out. I am never playing these. These are miserable.
That's the same kind of sentiment that I had until I heard about the sequel that came out, Fear and Hunger Termina, which is kind of like the second game of the series. And that game does a lot more in terms of making it feel less bullshit in the ways that you can die, and it does a lot of really crazy things. So it's basically very brutal in terms of the things that can happen to you. It's a game where you can go into a fight and you can just basically lose limbs. If you lose both of your legs, you can no longer walk. You can only crawl. That's basically permanent through the rest of the game. If you lose both of your arms, you can no longer hold any weapons. You can only basically tackle enemies to death, hopefully. So these things can happen to you at like basically any given time if you're not being careful about it. And even if you are being careful, if you're just unlucky and lose a roll of a coin, then you can also have that happen to you too. But it's also one of those games where discovery and being creative in a lot of your problem solving can get you through a lot of the problems, where you basically want to avoid every single fight that you can. There's no real reason for you to be fighting things unless you absolutely have to, because even fights against like not random, but like regular enemies can just kill you and do terrible things to your overall progress and stuff like that. So if you're into very punishing but very rewarding kind of games and exploring a world where the atmosphere is just thick with dread and despair and stuff like that, it's a game that can really grab your attention. And that's what it did to me. I played the second game first, and then I went back to the first game, played both to completion, and had a great time, mostly, except for the times where I was about to pull my hair out because I just lost a coin flip or something like that. But outside of that, very good. And the main event is, of course, Armored Core 6. The game has since come out. Any of you guys have played it yet?
No.
I have not had a chance, but it is on my docket.
Okay.
Yeah, I finished the first boss, which I heard everybody was talking about was so hard. I died once, and then I figured it out and was like, "Oh, okay, all right, it is that type of game." But yeah,
the tutorial helicopter you're talking about, right?
Yeah. People online were talking about how they couldn't beat it and was getting upset, and I'm like, well,
But you got to filter them out.
Gundam.
That's what you got to do.
Well, okay, well,
it's got to filter out all the scrubs.
That's what it's doing too. But yeah, I liked what I played, but I haven't played obviously near as much as you, so I'm definitely anxious to hear what you got to say.
Yeah, so if you play that game, you can kind of see the balance, because the game allows you to customize your mecha in a very in-depth way. You can customize your arms, legs, torso, head, your generator, all your weapons. So like basically all 4 slots of your weapons and your hands and your shoulders and stuff like that. So you can make it perform and play exactly in the way that you would like. But at the same time, it doesn't stick too close to the simulation aspect because it's so fast paced. So you can be in a situation where you're getting bombarded by missiles from every corner, or just like things trying to kill you, and you're just just dodging missiles and shots from everybody, just really, really fast. And it gives you a sense of speed. Even on the slower versions of the ACs that you can build, it's still pretty damn fast. So it kind of really gives you that power fantasy of like piloting a very powerful mech, and it's only when you're fighting against like the big bosses and other armor cores that you really have to like fight for your life. So there's a good balance of that between arcade and simulation, and that's the thing that I love most about Armored Core because it gives you the best of both. It allows you to customize and really fiddle around with the performance of your mech, but also it doesn't really stick you in a situation where you're just like Steel Battalion or Mech Warrior where it takes like 5 minutes to take 2 steps, just kind of deal, and it's kind of cumbersome to play. But in Armored Core, you basically fly around like a goddamn Gundam, shooting and destroying everything with laser blades and other like exotic weapons and stuff like that. And it's got so many like little cool things going for it, like where you have to choose between helping out one faction versus another, and that will basically change the tide of what happens. Like you basically get entirely different mission afterwards for choosing one or the other. And once you actually beat the game and you go into New Game Plus, you can actually see there are even additional side missions that they offer you and additional parts and more things that kind of get popped up. So even though the game itself, if you just want to one and done it, it's only going to take you like 12 to like 14 hours or something like that. But if you're involved in the customization, collecting of the parts, seeing everything that the story has to offer in terms of the branching stories, there's a ton of content there. And it's just so much fun to play. It's just one of those things where, I watched someone play the game and I'm seeing them using a different weapon that I've never, kind of fiddled around with before. And I kind of want to try that on my mech. And the game gives you all the bells and whistles to go through all the experimentation that you want. So anything that you buy, you can go ahead and resell back at the same exact price that you bought it for. So whatever amount of money and parts that you accumulate is never going to decrease. So you can just basically try everything you want. They give you like a great training area for you to fiddle around with. You can even see like a little demonstration of all the weapons and like leg parts in action before you even have to buy or equip them and stuff like that. So they modernize so much. And I've never thought when I was reviewing this game that people would have so much of an issue with the difficulty, because to me, it felt like they did such a great job of giving you proper checkpoints before every boss, giving you the ability to fiddle with your mech to kind of like reassemble your entire build out. So you're never going into a boss battle where you're unprepared. You're always at your best while you're fighting everything. So because of that, and because of the fact that you can just restart checkpoint, go right back to the boss. There's no thing where you got to redo the entire mission or something like that, which is actually the way that you had to do it in a lot of the previous Armored Core games. And that's where the difficulty came in, because not only did you have to pick out a mech that will get you through the level, you have to pick one that will also allow you to fight the boss and fight it successfully. You'd have to conserve your ammunition, because you would basically go in with anything that you had left over from fighting into that boss area. And that's where a lot of the difficulty came in. But now you're just filled up with everything. I honestly don't know why people were having so much difficulty with some of the earlier bosses, especially. It was kind of shocking to me when I was seeing all this stuff, especially from a lot of these people. They're like, I play Souls games before, this is going to be easy, and then they go into it and they get wrecked. Because obviously... Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I feel like what it is it's like you were talking about the power fantasy thing. I think people imagine this as, I'm in a giant mech, can't nothing stop me, I'm badass, and they just go at it, right? They don't understand that, you're in a giant mech, but this game is all about positioning, and you're right, it's so fast, which I love. I love the speed. But it's all about the movement. Like you can dash away from the bullets that are coming toward you. You have to zigzag and get in for those melee hits and stuff. That's how I took the helicopter down. That's what worked for me. Like the melee did way more damage than my actual weapon, other weapons did. But it's all about the speed and stuff. So you have to get past that, I'm in a robot, and be like, it's not an unstoppable robot. Like you will get fucked up. So you can't just rush in and fight, but you got to be, I just feel like maybe that's what it was. But because it wasn't that hard to me. So I don't know. I'm just as kerfluffled as you are, sir.
Yeah, and also, if this is your first Armored Core game that you're playing, obviously there's going to be new skill sets that you're going to have to learn. This game doesn't have invulnerability dodge frames or anything like that. if your mech, whether you dodged afterwards or before, it's still in the line of fire, you're gonna take damage. It's just the way the game has always worked, and whatnot.
Yep.
So if you go into the sensibility with like Dark Souls games, and I don't know how many more times and more people need to say it, this game is not Dark Souls. It's just not, and you're just gonna have to get over that fact. It's its own thing. It has its own set of rules, and you're gonna need to learn them and get good at manipulating those rules or playing within the confines of those rules, like they did with the Souls games. And if you see success in that, you gotta be able to put in the work to kind of get good at this game too. So that's kind of where it is, and it's great, man. Because how many times have I said it, even on the podcast or just in personal chats or whatever, where it's like, oh, FromSoft is so big, they got so much resources, they got so much talent now. What if they revisited some of their old games like Armored Core, like Kingsfield, and other stuff like that? And we just got one,
Yeah.
And I think that's incredible. I wish they did like another, like Echo Knights, another Kingsfield game or something like that, in like a more
and
old school
motherfucking cream.
Oh my god.
That one I haven't played yet.
he keep on with that. Oh my god.
I love that fucking game. I don't care. It was a great game.
I'm gonna have to look that up because I know you mentioned it before, but I don't think I've ever Googled it. But I'll check it out at some point. But it's just great, man.
They made a Tenchu game too. A couple of them, I think.
Oh, did they? Yeah,
They made
Tenchu
the
would
first
be
couple.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tenchu would be a great game for them to go back to, because think about how many great like stealth action games there are nowadays.
Wait.
Not so much, right?
Anthony, I thought the first one was made by Sony First Party Japan. I
No,
thought the From Software
they
made
did,
the 360.
Sorry,
one.
they did Acquire. Acquire made the first couple.
Yeah, because it was first party published in Japan by Sony, and then when they brought it over here, it was Activision that published the first two Tenchu games.
Tenchu Wrath of Heaven ported it to PSP. I had it wrong, yeah. And then, they did the PSP ones, which were like PS2 to PSP, I guess.
Yeah, because I know they did a couple of the console ones. I couldn't remember if it was PS2 or PS3 gen ones that they did. But yeah, they did a couple of those.
I don't know. Why did I think they did the first two? I don't know. That was on.
Didn't they do? They did Ninja Blade too, right? That 360 wild ass.
Yeah, that one's there.
Bro, I
That's not
love Ninja Blade.
I
The
did
game
not.
is on the Reddit.
Yeah.
I love that
game
game.
Wild.
Yeah,
Like,
Ninja Blade was
like
fucking great.
Heaven. But
Yeah.
it is. It's a good time. It's just
So I have two questions. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I have two questions about Armored Core. Are the missions still called sorties?
Yes, they are.
Okay, then we're good there.
Okay.
No, so if you do hit a checkpoint, like old Armored Core, like you had to start the mission over to tweak your mech, can you tweak your mech at checkpoints, or is it still just the beginning of the mission?
At any checkpoint, you can go ahead and assemble your mech.
Sweet.
You can't, however, go into the store while you're in the middle of a mission.
But you can use what you have.
Work with. Yeah. So it's good idea for you to have different loadouts, and you can also save loadouts as templates. So you can just load them up instantaneously. Anything that you think is good for a specific situation, you just save those, load them up, and load them back out, and kind of go back and forth. You can be playing like 3 different armor cores in one sortie, basically, just going through it just to make things easier for yourself. And the game, itself isn't that hard anyway, so you probably don't even need to do that. But if you want to min-max, you can do that. And I mean, I watched the video of like Vati playing the entire first chapter without getting hit once. And I saw another guy beat the entire game only by using punches and kicks. So if they can do that, then you can probably beat the game at its
you say that,
arsenal.
But some crazy person beat Dark Souls on a DDR pad, and I can't even get like halfway through the game. So
Yeah. I'm just saying that as a possibility, not that you should be trying to compete with those people.
I think
because
that dude
obviously they have
also.
a lot of time.
I think he also played it on a banana.
sure, why not?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, Zero Lenny has done a lot of things. His channel's great. If you like challenge runs, you should check out his videos where he beats games with like broken swords and just by punching people to death and stuff like that. It's kind of crazy.
I love me some Armored Core. The first 3 games on PS1 were some of my jams, like Master of Arena and what's the second one called? Phantom. Oh fuck. What was the second one called?
Isn't it some Phantasm or something?
Project Phantasm, was that it?
It's something like that.
Because the first one was
Wasn't
just
there a
Armored
game
Core.
like Lost Raven or something?
That was PS2, right?
Project Phantasma.
Project Phantasma. That was the second one. The third one was, I think, was Master of Arena.
Master of Arena.
Yeah.
And then but those are all just technically off of Armored Core 1.
Yes,
and
they
then
were like
there's 2.
expansions. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, kind of.
Then
Yeah.
there's 2 Another Age.
Yep. That was
Then
on
there's
PS2.
3.
Yep.
Then there's 3 Silent Line. Then there's Nexus.
hmm
Then there's Nexus Ninebreaker. And then Nexus Last Raven.
A lot of pattern here.
Then there's
Yeah.
Formula Front. Then there's 4. And then there's my favorite, 4 Answer.
Oh, dude, Four Answers
Four
like one of my
Answer.
favorite ones.
No,
too.
it's just
So
the
good.
way that they worked four Armored Core 4 Answer. And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, oh, but it's all based off 4. And then there's 5. And then there's 5 Verdict Day.
Yep.
So it's very possible that they might be doing something similar with Armored Core 6 where they have like an expansion game, and I'd be 100% into that because as much as I love like going through the single player campaign of this, I felt like the arena aspect of it was kind of lacking. It felt like there wasn't too much build up to the fights themselves, and also like I mean you can't ever beat the build up for like 9-ball, you know what I mean? Like can you remember trying to fight that asshole in Armored Core 1 and the other
Oh,
games
God.
following? He's an absolute nightmare, and there wasn't anyone like that in Armored Core 6. I think that's something that they can expand on with like a bigger, more in-depth arena.
Also, I'm looking up. For some reason, it just lists the first Tenchu game under this, but I have like all From Software sort of series. Another Centuries Episode, which is another mech game. I'm just mentioning the ones we haven't mentioned. Evergrace.
Oh,
I
God.
know that game.
that
Hold on.
game.
Evergrace, and then there's Forever Kingdom, which is
Yeah.
Evergrace 2 in Japan. Lost Kingdoms 1 and 2.
Ugh.
Atogi.
Both of those are great games.
Fantastic. They need to be backwards compatible.
They are backwards compatible, Terrence.
I think Jay
Are they?
mentioned Shadow Tower.
Yeah, Shadow Tower was kind of like Kingsfield follow-up.
And then there's stuff like Chrome Hounds, their VR game Duracine, Enchanted Arms, Eternal Ring, the Frame Gride,
Frame Gride was great. That was a Dreamcast one.
Kuon, Metal Wolf Chaos we need a sequel to because how dare they not have that. Another mech game, Ninja Blade, Steel Battalion Heavy Armor, which is the Kinect game. Yuck. But the one that I want to bring up is that we need another one of is 3D Dot Game Heroes. God damn it.
Oh, bro, was that FromSoft?
Yeah,
Yes,
that
it was
FromSoft.
because
Oh, dude, that game
It-
ruled.
you know how you can enter there's a building where they're like working on a game or a secret project inside 3D Dot Game Heroes? That's them working on Dark Souls.
It's crazy to me that like you can't even play that game right now, like unless you have a PS3 hooked up. It
And
sucks.
those copies are expensive.
Yeah, I have a copy of it. It just sucks that you've got to do that.
Yep.
Oh, that game was so fun. Like you could make your
I forget
sword
that's
as big
them
as
because
you
Atlas
wanted.
published it.
Yes, it could cover up there like half the screen if you make it big enough.
Yeah,
It's
and
so
you
good.
just like swipe and just kill everything. It was so fun.
Yeah, that game was great. But I mean, FromSoft is coming. These are the last 3 games that FromSoft has created, including Armored Core AC6, Elden Ring, Sekiro, and then the other major release was Dark Souls 3. So they are just on a runaway train of just quality titles that they just cannot be stopped. So whatever that they make next, I'm 1,000% on board. Whether they revisit an old series or they go back to their Souls formula, I'm there.
Well, the next thing they're releasing is the Elden Ring DLC. So
Yeah, most likely.
cool. Anything else on Armored Core?
I think that's it. Unless any of you guys have questions, I highly recommend it. And if whether you're first time playing Armored Core or like a veteran trying to go back in, it's a damn good time way to do it.
Yeah, I will be picking it up hopefully this week because I do love me some Armored Core. It'll be a game that I play off time for sure. So
Yeah, it's a perfect game for it because the missions are not that long, so you can play like a mission or two and put it aside, and then do other stuff.
All right, well, I will wrap this up. I'm not going to go too deep into the indie games. There was a couple. There's like a new vertical shooter because there's always one every week. It's called Overdriven Evolution. Kind of uses the Ikaruga style where you change your ship color to and like taking the bullets, but it really doesn't seem to work that well. Like I was red and blue bullets weren't hitting me, so I don't know. It didn't really click with me. Tiny Tanks 2, yeah, it's a tank game. You shoot each other. It's not that great. There's an idle DPS game where you literally just hit something like 5 times, then you get an auto hit, and it's just yeah, those games are boring. There's a new mine and Ryan's favorite style games where you got the wobble physics, which is called Heavenly Bodies, where you're this astronaut and you got to use the left and right analog sticks to grab items, and yeah, it's one of those wobble physics games. Speaking of cookies and cream, there was a game very similar to it, which is called Mirrored Souls, where you have a split screen down the middle, and you have to solve platforming puzzles by moving both characters because they move in tandem. So as you push one left, the other one goes right, and you have to move objects and jump and stuff. It's just like a little puzzle game. It's kind of neat. But I think that's all the indie games. I'm going to talk about it because I have to, because there's a new fucking character. Overwatch 2 dropped Ilari into comp. And I've basically been running her exclusively. That is the funnest fucking character they've put in that game in a long ass time.
Fun because she's overtuned and too strong, or because her mechanics are good?
She was way too powerful. They buffed her before they nerfed her before they put her into comp. So she's not as strong now, but her healing output is fantastic. Her evasion techniques are great, so like she can get out of trouble, which is awesome.
How does she heal people?
Huh?
How does she heal people? Just by shooting them?
Her secondary fire is like Symmetra's beam, which is charged by the sun. So like if you're outside, it charges faster, which is a cool mechanic.
Okay.
And she also has a healing pylon, which you can throw down. Think of it like a Torb turret, or better yet, like a Symmetra turret. You throw it and it'll stick to anything, and it bursts 30 healing per second. So like it'll burst and do healing. It only heals one target at a time, so it'll kind of focus on whoever's the lowest health. But it does burst healing 30 every second. I was outperforming every healer in the matches I was in, healing-wise, and still able to do quite a bit of...
Get sworn at?
What's that?
And still able to get sworn at? How dare you not heal me?
Well, that's automatic in Overwatch. You know?
Actually, I didn't this time. Like, everybody was giving me endorsements on it because I was out healing Moira's and Anna's, and it was crazy.
Nice.
But her gun is also my fucking jam. I grew up playing with the railgun in games like Quake, and her gun is essentially a railgun. It's a hit scan, one shot, and it charges, so as long as you've got it fully charged, it does quite a bit of damage, like 100 on a headshot, which is pretty good for a support.
You charge it, just hold it down?
No. It's got like a charge, so it's got 2 charges on it, and every time you shoot it, it goes down. And if you just give it a second, so you can't spam it. If you spam it, then it's just like doing no damage.
Mm-hmm.
So you take a shot, you take a couple seconds, you take another shot, that kind of deal.
Does she have any movement abilities?
Yeah, so her movement ability is she will like do this like burst spin where she'll do a little bit of AoE healing for your teammates and you, and it also pushes people away. So let's say like a Junker Queen is getting ready to axe you, you just hit that and it'll push her back to where she can't hit you.
Is it decent for like a boop?
Yes, it actually does a boop, but you have to be careful because you move when you hit it. And I went off the map a couple times because I did it too close to an edge.
Do you just move forward, or can you?
You can direct it, so like you can go left, right, forward, or back. So, but she is super fun. Like I had, like even in games I was losing, I was having fun playing as her. And I know I sent you guys that clip. Her ult can be super powerful, especially with a Zarya or a Orisa combo.
Does the ult heal at all, or it's just only damage?
It's only damage. So she shoots the sunburst, and when you're hit by it, it says on your screen like you're sunburned or something like that. And if she hits you with a shot, it'll increase the explosion, and it does AoE damage. So
like marking somebody.
Yep. And like when they get hit, they see it and they immediately run for cover because if they're all grouped up, like I got a 5K with it on King's Row, which was crazy. But no, she is super fun. Super fun character. All right.
Still
Moving
not
on.
going back to it, but all right.
I know, but I'm having fun. So I have two kind of big games to talk about. The first one, I did finally get the Bomb Rush Cyberpunk code for Xbox. It's out on Friday. It is not embargoed because the reviews are already out. This is Jet Set Radio 3. Like,
Awesome.
100%. Like, they don't even hide it. Like, the opening mission is you escaping from prison. And it teaches you kind of the grinding mechanics. It teaches you the spray mechanics, which are cool because you'll hit a button to tag, just like you do in Jet Set Radio, and you'll move the right analog stick in like a configuration. So like it has 6 points, and you move it between the points, and then it'll tag something. The grinding feels really good. The jump is very floaty, just like Jet Set Radio. You can get off of so you can use like rollerblades, you can use skateboards, you can get off of them and go on foot by just tapping like the left bumper, and then you can just walk around. You also have attacks, so there's like combat in this, so you can like, you've got 3 attacks that are mapped to the like X, Y, and B buttons or square, triangle, circle buttons on a PlayStation controller, and you can do like combos. It looks like you're breakdancing. The music is fantastic, which had to be there because, Jet Set Radio, if you grew up playing Jet Set Radio, you can, like, when I say the name of it, you immediately hear a song. And that's kind of what Bomb Rush does, is, like, there's a song constantly playing, and it's always some cool mix of either, like, techno or hip-hop or something, and it's just really well done. Visually, very much looks like Jet Set Radio, very thick black, cel-shaded lines, very cartoony style characters. It runs great. It looks great. I mean, there is zero reason for you not to buy this if you like Jet Set Radio.
Did you talk about the music?
Yeah. The music is fantastic.
That's what I want to hear. All right.
Yeah, it's like a really cool mix of like techno and hip hop and stuff, and it's just. It's
the same guy that did the Jet Set Radio for the other 2 games, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh,
yeah,
wow. Okay.
He's incredible.
And it even like you love it because like when you're talking to people, they're dancing because that's just fucking Jet Set Radio.
Nice. Yep.
So
Yep.
no, if you like those games, pick this up. Absolutely, it's 100% worth it. And then the other game I'm playing is Immortals of Aveum.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Unreal 5 looks really good, even if the image quality is kind of blah. I saw the Digital Foundry thing. I guess the Series S version drops down to 468p. Like, ooh.
Boy.
I mean, the Series X and PS5 max at 720p. Just so you know, it's upscaled, but you can see it. This is the most video game I've played in a long time. It is a straight first-person shooter with magic. There are abilities that you get. Think of it like, I mean, you've seen them before. You hold down a button and press one of the face buttons to do different attacks. You earn those over the course of the game. You literally start out in a tutorial that kind of teaches you the movement, and then it moves into like your training as a soldier. You immediately get all 3 types of guns you're going to get right from the outset. So you get like a machine gun, you get like a single burst rail gun, and you also get like a shotgun. And you swap between them hitting Y, and each one is color coded. So like the machine gun is green, the rail gun is blue, the shotgun is red. You can swap between them. You also have like a grappling hook where you can fling it and grab people and pull them towards you. You have a melee attack. It is very much, it feels like if Unreal meshed with something like a Dishonored art style, because it is very like, I don't know how to explain it, but then also it has like Call of Duty level like events. So like one of the first things you do is you go out on this big battlefield and there's a war going on, and it's just kind of epic to look at because it's just, Unreal 5 does some really good like texture work and things like that. It all runs at 60, and it pretty much holds it most of the time. Cutscenes do kind of drop a little bit. The game is just excuse me. The game is just kind of like a showpiece. It is very much like a Magic Call of Duty as far as like spectacle goes. But it plays like an Unreal. where it's very fast and things like that. So, I mean, it's good. I don't think it's $70 good, but if you catch it on a sale, you probably enjoy it if you just kind of like mindless shooters. The story is a little better than it has any right to be, and it's mostly because the performances are pretty good. But I don't know. It's not gonna win any awards, and it would probably get a lot more conversation if it wasn't 2023. So
I do have one question for you, Ken.
Yeah, go ahead.
My main concern with that game when I was watching like the trailers and stuff like that, it did have some like good trailers, which like made me interested in the game a little bit. But when I look at all these like magic effects and stuff like that, is it just like magic effects that is in the guise of a magic effect, but they just basically are just guns that do slightly different things? Or does it truly feel like you're actually like a magician with different magic spells you can like really craft together and do things in really inventive and creative ways to kind of keep the moment-to-moment gameplay feel fresh and interesting,
No, your guns are pretty much just guns. Like, they are literally just guns. But the powers are kind of cool. So the first one you get is kind of like you summon rocks up from the ground and it can break shields. So you can use that to combo. I just got the second one, which is like a burst fire thing. So those are interesting things you can combo with, but your main guns are like, hey, this enemy is far away, I'm going to use my railgun. Hey, this enemy's up close, I'm going to use my shotgun. Like, it is literally just feels like guns.
There's no leveling system or anything in this game?
There's no leveling system. There is gear. But you can't get gear for your character's like clothes. It's like rings and bracelets and stuff.
Okay, this sounds like a alternate timeline version of Outriders, if we're being honest.
Kinda.
Can you shoot Paris? Is that an option? Is he an enemy in the game?
Not that everybody I've seen looks like what's the dude's name from Marvel? With the like pointy head, like Galactus? Is that?
Oh,
like he looks like their helmets look like Galactus helmets. So
nice.
At least so far, what I've seen, like most of the characters are very much like I bought this costume at like Halloween Express or something. And
Gotcha.
So, Terrence, if Paris's character in the game was the last boss and you had to kill him to finish the game, would you pick the game up?
I would pick that game up right now. I would tell y'all, hold on, and I would purchase it, and I'm going to kill that nigga twice. Listen, now look.
allegedly.
That's all Ken had to say. I could, allegedly, yes, in the game. Jesus Christ. But yes, that's all he had to say, is that he was a boss. And I was like, I'll get it.
I don't think he's a boss. The bosses are fun. Like, they're big, hulking. Like, it is
You
very
will
much...
fight me and my community.
Well, you're in trouble now, though. It's because he got a community. It is very much like the most video game-ass video game. Like, it's one of those things you would have seen in the 360 era, and you'll probably have fond memories of it down the line if you played it. You'll be like, oh, that game was pretty good. That kind of game.
That's what it looked like. It just looked like it was going to be kind of fun. Like, I wasn't expecting, epic. I was expecting kind of a good time. That is disappointing that the magic powers just feel like guns, though.
Oh, it's 100%. Like
they were going to make it feel more, but...
No, it's just like, hey, I'm shooting my machine gun. Hey, I'm shooting my shotgun. It is literally just that.
Yeah, seems like a good game to pick up on a sale. It feels like it's like there's some
100%.
good redeeming parts, but $70 seems like a lot to ask for, especially in this year.
Yeah, and you'll enjoy, like, you'll play it when it gets cheap, and you'll play it, and you'll be like, God damn, like, this looks really good. This has some really cool, like, moments and set pieces, and, like, the graphics are really pretty, and then you'll play it, and you'll be like, okay, I see what this is. This is going to be the same thing. Okay, we're good.
Mm-hmm.
We're good.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fun. It's just not amazing.
No.
All right. Let's talk about what's out this week. It is a pretty decent week. I'm going to butcher this pronunciation. We're going to start with Series X, PlayStation 5. Agatha Christie, is it Hercule Poirot?
Hercule Poirot.
Hercule Poirot, there you go. See?
Yeah.
The London case. Noob the Factionless.
Have any of you guys watched any of those new Hercule Poirot movies? They're actually really good.
They are fantastic, yep.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
The new one?
So they made...
for the new one?
Yeah, y'all, dude, we're going to go see it in theaters. So, they got Murder on the Orient Express was the first movie. Second movie is Death on the Nile. These are star-studded friggin' like cast. Like
I heard Death on the Nile wasn't very good. I did watch on the one on the train. I liked that one.
Nah, they're both really good.
Yeah,
Death on the Nile's great. Yeah.
Okay, maybe I'll watch that too.
I don't. Are they on anything that I don't subscribe to anymore?
I'm not sure.
Death on the
Maybe
Nile
Amazon.
was on Amazon.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I have to keep Amazon. Amazon is where I. Speaking of Amazon, I forgot to mention I had to replace my Series X for the dumbest problem.
What happened? What happened?
So I was playing a review game, Redacted, and I thought it was a problem with the game because my Xbox just kept saying you need to plug in a controller. It just kept desyncing my controller. I tried 5 different controllers because I have too many controllers, and they all did it in that game. Like I'd go play Overwatch and it'd be fine, and I'd go play that game and it's like it's breaking. So like I reached out, I was like, "Did you hear anybody having this problem?" You know, and they're like, "No, we haven't." I started playing Immortals of Aveum and it did the same thing. I'm like, "What the fuck?" And then it started doing it in Overwatch, and then it started doing it in Madden, and I'm like, this is just broken. So, like, I looked online, and they're like, do this, do this, do this, do this. So I did all those things, still doing it. So it turns out that apparently I had the inside of the Xbox has like a transmitter that connects to your controller, and that can go bad. And apparently that's what happened. So obviously I was out of warranty. So I checked to see what the repair would be, and it's like $300, and I got to ship it away. I'm like,
Jesus.
I'm like, nah, I'll just get a new one. So yeah, I had to buy a new Series X, which.
And it's not like the other one doesn't work.
No,
It's
if you
just
use a wired controller, it works fine.
So what are you gonna do?
Hey, send it to me, thanks.
It's sitting in a box right now. I haven't decided. I'm kind of
I'll wire up. I'll have so many goddamn wires.
If you live close, they're like, "Hey, what's up?" No, but yeah, I don't know. It's in a box
I'm
right now.
looking up flights.
Whoa! It's in the box. Hold on. We might have to talk after the show because I'm Xbox-less right now, and I'll wire that up. Even though I feel like we should send it to Anthony. We should.
Wait, you don't have an Xbox X, Terrence?
No, broke.
Mine broke like his, and I'm not. I'm waiting to replace mine.
I was so mad. I was like, why couldn't it be my PS5 that broke? I don't play that.
Who's saying your PS5 isn't broke? You don't play that.
I was playing Final Fantasy last week.
Right now.
Yeah, I was playing Final Fantasy 16 last week. I don't know what you're talking about. My Switch is like a rock.
I guess that definitively proves that the PS5 is a superior platform, I guess, Ken. I mean, you said it yourself, it broke. PS5 is still going strong, so I guess that's the only logical conclusion that we can make from this one particular case, right?
I mean, clearly. It couldn't possibly be that I play one 1,000 times more than I play the other. No.
Clearly not. I mean, there's no way. I've never seen you play a single game on your Series X. In fact, never.
No, that thing had so much dust on it. I had to cake it off to put it in the box. It wouldn't fit.
Yeah, exactly.
No, so yeah, that was super fun. Like, oh great, I gotta go buy another $500 console because there's no way I can go without an Xbox. I just can't, especially not in the middle of reviewing one of the biggest games.
Yeah, the only reason I'm okay, like I'm like not stressing, is because I have my PC, and my PC is more than enough to play all that stuff, so I'm okay. So, but yeah, I would be just like you if I didn't. I'd be like, I got to get my Xbox. I can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, my PC is like, it's pretty old. It's a 2070, I think is what's in it, so it's pretty old.
Yeah, I got a 3080 in mine, so mine is I can do it. I can handle everything.
1060, baby.
Ooh, you rocking the big card.
That's right. Still going, baby.
I have a 3080, and I'm really contemplating buying parts and upgrading my PC right now already. So,
Lord, yeah, I'm good. I'm cool with where I'm at.
I want more performance.
My 1060 still chugging along. I still got
that. You're playing Baldur's Gate 3 perfectly fine, baby.
I got it on medium settings.
Yeah, that's good enough.
You got it on console settings.
Yeah, I got it on console settings.
All right. Sea of Stars. Also out this week. We talked about that. This one was a shocker. I didn't know this was out. The Making of Karateka is out this week.
Is that a video game or a documentary?
Yeah.
It's
Like
the
they did with
Digital
the
Eclipse
Atari one?
like interactive documentary where you can play the game and do all the, like kind of like their Atari collection, but it's just Karateka.
Huh. I thought that was
Okay.
Holiday. All
I
right,
did
right
too,
on.
like, but it's out on Tuesday, I guess. Under the Waves, Daymare 1994 Sandcastle, Lapin, How to Escape, Tenebris Pictura, Trine 5, A Clockwork Conspiracy, which I'm also playing that I can't tell you about. War Hospital, Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, Dreamers, No Place Like Home, and then on Friday you can upgrade for Starfield Premium Edition. Also, that Xbox Series S 1 terabyte Carbon Black is out on Friday. So, please be excited for a new Series S.
Please clap.
PlayStation 5, mostly the same stuff. We got a couple exclusive ones over here. We got Crossfire, Sierra Squad. Because, Crossfire.
Like Crossfire?
Yeah, like that Crossfire.
Oh.
Like you'll get caught up
Crossfire
in the
is one of the most played games in the world. It has over 1 million players every single day.
The PC
Please
one.
enjoy this version that is late to the Xbox. Remedy did the single-player campaign. Oh, never mind. We're taking it all away.
Right.
Wow, I haven't heard this name in a long time, but apparently this is finally coming out. Goodbye Volcano High?
Oh, is that finally coming out? Damn, I think the reveal for that game was like 3 years ago.
Yeah, it feels like it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but that game creeps me out.
That's the animal game.
It's a little bit on the worst side.
Yeah, it's like the dinosaur band that they're dying because the meteor's coming, or so it's like depressing shit. But anyway, Rhapsody, Morrow Kingdom Chronicles, Somerville making its way to PlayStation.
Don't play that game.
Wait a minute.
That game
Anthony's
sucks.
favorite game.
Can we go back for a second there? Volcano High. When you said that, I thought of the movie. You guys remember the movie?
There was a movie?
There was a movie. I want to say it was either a Japanese movie or it might have been a Korean movie about a kid from high school who gets into a fight with a bunch of other gang high school kids. It was one of those in the early 2000s. You remember whenever they used to do like redubs with like hip hop artists?
Yep.
I don't know.
I know what you're talking
I have no
about.
idea what he's talking about.
This is real. I remember it.
I'm not saying you were lying. I'm just saying I have no idea what you're talking about.
My cousin at the time was into like the hip hop stuff. Like I know what you're talking about. I can't remember that exact one, but I know what. Yeah,
Pretty sure it was like on MTV in the early 2000s.
Jesus,
I can't remember.
That's crazy because like when the only movie I know about volcanoes is Joe versus the volcano.
Mm-hmm. No, this was
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks.
Volcano High. It was like almost like
No, you know the Pierce Brosnan one
balance.
too.
What
is that? Dante's Peak.
Dante's Peak.
And then there was
I've
the
never
same time
seen
the
it.
competing movie Volcano.
Never seen either
With
one.
Tommy
of those.
Lee Jones. Tommy Lee Jones was in that one, I think.
That's right. You're correct.
I did forget. I guess Xbox probably get this too, but the Ninja Turtles Dimension Shell Shock DLC is out this week. I will be picking that up.
Yep.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, I
Nice.
was this week.
Oh,
Yeah.
show.
But it's not a part of Game Pass, so I won't be playing it.
Oh, that's a shame because that game's so good.
It is good. Yeah.
Scoutfold Usurper. So another one of those games is out this week. I know Anthony knows what those games are.
I'm impressed by that guy's commitment to releasing games.
He's like the equivalent of that dude that makes those survival horror games.
Daymare, isn't that one of them?
Is that one of them? Like the other ones are called like Outbreak or something, right?
Outbreak, that's the one.
Yeah.
The Resident Evil clones. Yeah,
Because he's got like 50 of those games at this point.
Hey, we haven't discussed it on here, but we talked about it on Phoenix Down. That guy who released like the last 3DS games,
Silver Falls,
that dude has made 1 million friggin' games and like continued to make 3DS games until they ended.
You can't play them anymore.
Yeah, you can't play them anymore.
And then The Last Worker is the last game.
That was last week.
I thought that was last week as well.
Yeah, maybe there's I don't know. All right, PS4, Xbox One. It's called One. Yeah, that's. I almost forgot what it was called. It's all the same shit. Rumblefish 2 Collector's Edition. Everything else is the same. Check Xbox, probably all the same shit. Yep. Gourmet Warriors, that's coming out this week. I'm excited to play that. So that's another Cubite Classics. It's an old beat-em-up game. Nobody else cares. I'm the only one that goes back to these old fucking games and plays them. I was fucking
I like
playing.
beat 'em ups. I just never heard of that. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah,
I love beat 'em ups.
it's an old like arcade classic. So like yeah, like I mentioned in the chat, I was getting the Comerica cartridges out this week, playing some fucking Dizzy, the adventure.
Yeah, I saw that.
Dizzy is not a good game.
No, it's not, and there's like 12 of them.
None of them. Yeah, because they could make them cheap for like British computers.
Yeah, Dizzy
the Oliver
games
twins
are very bad games, but
hey, you walked into the water, now you're dead.
yeah, even though there's like a bag of money in the water that you just for some reason you just can't get it.
Oh, because you need the snorkel, and the snorkel's held by another A-gas fucking character. I hate those games.
Dizzy.
I like the character.
He's an egg.
He's an egg. It's cute.
Nice.
And then you play the game, and you're like, wow, this game really hates me.
Yeah, pretty much every Comerica game hates you. Just like the Aladdin Deck Enhancer, it hates you too.
Wasn't that all?
It didn't do anything.
Aren't most of those Codemasters?
Yes, Codemasters was the main publisher behind it. Yes. Xbox is also getting Cats and the Other Lives and Hexapoda. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. I noticed Anthony removed the foot picture from last week.
Dude, I couldn't look at it. It was
so
God.
East Asia Soft was tweeting about that game, and I saw the picture again, and I was just like,
no.
Oh, God.
I didn't look at who the publisher was. I was just...
Yeah, it's East Asia Soft. So it's time to play the Switch game. Which ones of these are horny? Nintendo Switch this week. A lot of the same stuff. I'm not going to go over those again. We got Golf Hole in One. Samba de Amigo. It could be, yeah, depending on you. Samba de Amigo Party Central is out this week.
Yeah. Nice.
Sphere Out. Hyperforma Lost Archives Fragments 1 and 2. DLC for Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, Rayman and the Phantom Show.
Rayman comes back to us after, 20 years of not being there?
Yeah. The Bridge Curse Road to Salvation. 1997. Baseball Club. Buggy Racer. Cat Lord. Elastomania 2. Eventide 2, The Sorcerer's Mirror. High Sea Saga DX, It's a Wrap, Jelly Fruits Adventure Magic Match 3 Puzzle.
Those certainly were words.
There was a lot of them, too. Masala Drive, Necro Boy, Path to Evil Ship, Norn 9, Last Era, OU, Sakura Fox Adventure, that's one. That's gotta be one. Taito Milestones 2, The Shape of Things, Trapped in the Dim Mansion, Trip World DX.
Yep, that definitely is one.
Which was Trapped in the Dim Mansion?
No, Sakura. Oh, God.
Oh, did you look it up? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's right there. Don't worry, there's more. Yaniniku Simulator, Aqua Park IO, Big Farm Story, Gastro Force. Sounds like after there was some Taco Bell right there.
I was about to say.
Hole.io. Okay. What the fuck? Otoko Cross Pretty Boys Dropout. Paper.io 2. What is with these .io games? What the hell are these?
That's probably because Survivor.io is popular.
Yeah, that's fair.
And they're just taking the .io, I guess. I don't know. Maybe someone else knows.
This one sounds like one, but I don't think it is. Ralph and the Blue Ball.
Nice.
Picking it up.
Nice. Poor Ralph.
And another Scoutfold Bloody Pack. I'm assuming that's a collection of Scoutfold games. Oh, man.
Okay,
What's
Ralph and the Blue Ball. Ralph needs your help to find all his toys, especially his lovely little blue ball. Embark on a very charming hidden object short game based on a true story. I don't know if this is based on a true story.
You don't know Ralph?
Right.
You don't know Ralph?
Ralph is a dog.
All I'm going to say is, Ken, when you read stuff, please read it properly. It's not trapped in the dim mansion. It's trapped in the dim mansion.
Oh, yeah. I just
It's
saw
all
that.
capitals. Yeah. I apologize. Next time I will do better. All right, let's do news. PlayStation Portable Remote Player is out later this year. It's $199.
I don't see the reason for this.
Who asked for this? Who wants to buy this?
I can
See
show
if I can do
you 25 Twitter accounts that will buy this.
I never asked for this. I can't
Accounts
do it
that are not paid actors by Sony.
Well, they're not paid. They're fucking stupid. Let's get this right.
Okay.
He ain't lying.
Sony has acquired.
I bet I know someone that buys that.
Sony has acquired headphone maker Audi's nuts.
Audi's nuts. That's a lot of nuts.
Audi's will stay.
Oh god damn it!
Audi's will stay multi-platform and make headphones for multiple systems in the future. What is with these acquisitions? Like, why buy it? Like,
yeah, because Sony's only going to get the good tech. Because I actually do like their headphones. I've bought, I think, maybe a pair or two of theirs.
I haven't understood the only thing I understand about the Activision acquisition is Game Pass. Like, everything else, I'm like, well, it's coming to everything, so who cares? Like, I don't get it.
It's coming to everything for now.
For now, yes. Starfield being like the first game where they're like, actually it was Redfall, but Microsoft would prefer if you forget about Redfall.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. Man, we still wait on that 60 frame per second patch. I don't think we're.
Don't hold your breath. I was gonna say, don't hold your breath.
Yep.
Like, yeah.
Oh no.
New Pokemon Poltergeist got revealed for the upcoming Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC. I guess that's a new Pokemon.
I didn't hear about that.
Type of Pokemon or
type is Poltergeist. That sounds like a Pokemon name, right?
I mean, is it a chicken ghost?
I didn't say Poultrygeist. I said Polcha.
Poltergeist.
Polcha.
Okay.
I hope it's a chicken ghost.
Poultrygeist is good though. Somebody should do that. That's pretty good.
I think that's a movie.
I was like, is it in the same vein as like Beavers and Sharknado? And...
Yeah, it's a shitty like horror movie that's also like kind of like gross out humor.
I see a lot of those movies on like the weekly sales on digital movies, and like some of them are just like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Charles Martinet will no longer voice Mario, but he will represent Mario as the official Mario ambassador around the world in the future.
Okay.
The first. He is the first Mario ambassador.
Is he traveling around the world saying, hey, let me show you my brother in Christ, Mario?
Let me tell you about him. Excitebike 64 is coming to Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack on August 30th.
Did they add anything to the original anymore, or is it all this expansion pack stuff at this point?
No, they do.
They do.
NES and SNES and Genesis, or Genesis is expansion, sorry, but they still do NES and SNES games.
And Game Boy stuff.
And Game Boy
I think it's been more Game Boy as of late.
Game Boy's expansion pack, isn't it?
Game Boy Advance's expansion pack.
Okay, like I'm confused. Like, it's not expensive enough for me to care.
It's GBA, N64, and Genesis that are all expansion pack, and then it's NES, Super Nintendo, and Game Boy and Game Boy Color to some extent in the regular.
You know what the only reason is I don't cancel my expansion pack? Well, other than the fact that Mario Kart DLC. I should probably just buy it.
Yep.
And be done with it.
How much is the expansion pass?
What's it like? Is it $30 a year?
$30
I think it's $30 a year.
Yeah, because the old one was
like $10 more then.
Yeah, the old one was like $20. Oh, and also cloud saves. God damn, that's the one I'm gonna miss on PlayStation because I canceled my PS Plus. Is cloud saves.
You know, I'm not gonna say anything.
What you got?
Why is this not standard?
It's only standard on PC and Xbox. Like, it's so weird.
Like, wait, you get free class saves on Xbox without the pass and stuff?
Yeah, that's free. It's just free.
Yeah,
they've been doing that since 360. 360 had it.
So they don't give you online multiplayer, but they'll give you cross saves.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, they don't. Nobody gives you online multiplayer anymore except PC.
Well, we all know that PC is superior, so we can just leave that off the table and talk about the inferior platforms like the Sony and the Xbox and stuff like that.
For God's sakes, here we go with your master race shit. Get on out of here.
It's too easy. It's too easy.
Every one of them's too easy.
He's not wrong. That's the thing.
He's not.
Mm-hmm.
I can't.
It just costs too much to stay in the ether.
Yeah, I can't do it. I can't. It's just, and I don't like fucking with it.
Just give me the money. I'll make it the system. It's as simple as that. I won't even charge you anything extra. And a lot of people would charge a lot for that service. Trust me.
Again, I can buy an Xbox for $500 whenever I have to spend $2,000 on a PC.
Oh, that's the misconception. You don't have to spend $2,000 to get a system that can play all the new AAA games in like high quality. It's just, how high of a difference do you want to make? Because there's a huge gap between high and ultra. If you're satisfied with being on high at like 60 FPS and not pushing like 144 and above, $1,000 or like $800 even will get you there, no problem.
That's still more than my Xbox or my PlayStation, and also
true. But you also get access to free games, free online. There's the multitude of sales that are not available on the console platforms. You can buy games for like $2-3 in bundles and stuff like that would normally cost you $60-$70 a pack. So if you think about the money that you save on the various online subscriptions that you'd have to pay for, and also in terms of just kind of getting games cheaper in general, and that actually ends up saving you a whole lot of money in the long run. But like me, and you guys, we buy the systems mostly for the exclusives and also for kind of the experience, right? So that's why I never tell everyone to just sell all your consoles, buy PC. That's dumb. There's still exclusives that are great on their their relevant consoles, not Xbox because that's also on PC. So, but that's a different thing. But if you're talking like Switch and like Sony consoles, that makes total sense. Can't play Final Fantasy 16 for a while, on that. You can't play, Tears of the Kingdom without going through illegal means and stuff like that, technically, on PC. So if you have those things, then go for the platforms you like. But I want to always encourage people to get into the PC landscape. It's not as daunting as it sounds. It's really not.
I'm waiting on Drew. Drew, are you going to say it?
Say what?
That you haven't paid for Game Pass?
Oh, yeah, that's true. I haven't. I've never paid for Game Pass.
Yeah, he's never paid for Game Pass, so your argument is moot now. And also,
I never will.
Also, I'm not waiting 2 years to play God of War. Whatever.
Me neither. That's why I have a PS5.
Yeah, but that means you spent double.
Well, no, I do. That's why I said, if you have those expectations, if you're into as gaming as much as I am, then you obviously want to get, all the stuff, except for Xbox, which everything is also on PC.
Now, one of the things I will give a PlayStation fanboy credit because he made a great joke, which was said, I'm going to wait for it to come on Game Pass, and he said, yes, the favorite game that Xbox players like to play. The waiting game.
I mean, that's what they do.
That's fair. That's fair.
You know that's Microsoft's fault. They did that.
It 100% is.
And you know what? As much as video games are nowadays, my wife wanted to play. I forget which game it was, but she wanted to play something. I told her how much it was. She was like, "No, I'll wait."
That's the thing. Is I use my Microsoft points to buy Resident Evil 4 remake. That's $70 right there, man. That's
Oh fuck no.
Drew, we're not going down this route again. Please no.
Please God.
No, but that's just a lot of money. $70 is a lot of money.
I know, but my time is valuable too.
Your time, Drew, is valuable to you and to us as your friends. We want you to be spending time doing things that you enjoy, not doing things kind of like a second job just so they can save $100 a year or something like that. It's too much.
That's fine.
But I mean, it sounds like you enjoyed the activity of it, the way you speak of it. That's why we haven't done an intervention yet. But if it goes down that route where it seems like an abusive relationship and you're just like, oh God, I gotta do it, or someone's gonna shoot me in the head kind of deal, then we're gonna do something about it. But for now, it's fine. Do what you like.
Fine.
All right. Let's move on with the news. Everybody's favorite director, Zack Snyder, said he's interested in directing a Gears of War movie.
Oh,
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Now, hold on here. Some
Nope,
things...
because he'll give us flash and no substance. Like, he'll get the tone.
I'm going to
like, the
tell you
tone
right
will-
now, I hate to break this to you, but, like, anyone in Hollywood... No one in Hollywood is going to do a good Gears of War movie.
I mean,
No
okay,
one.
well, yeah, sure. Absolutely. But I just
His
feel
at
like
least
his
look
will
good.
It'll look good. Yeah, that's all it'll be. It'll look good.
I mean,
he
isn't
is
that
not
what
as good as
Gears
everybody
is?
thinks.
Ba-doom.
Yeah,
Wow.
is people really playing Gears for the story? Not really, right? I mean, the story's not that
All right.
great to begin with.
All right. I would have hit that. I would have, I have, picture in picture right now, so I couldn't click it. But yes, that was good. That's a good point. You're right. I don't think you do.
I
Gears
know
for the
there's so
story,
many people mad at me right now. They're like, I want to tell you about
Oh, yeah,
the
they
deep
are.
lore of the Gears of War universe. I'm like, I don't really care. I just
Yeah, they
shoot
are.
motherfuckers and chainsaw them in half.
I do know the lore of Gears of War.
I do
I
too.
play the games.
Which is
Yep,
cool,
me too.
but it's not like
Oh, it's not revolutionary.
Yeah, right. I think Zack Snyder, it would look good. Yes, I am a movie lover. Like, there are some films that I watch that are just for entertainment, and there are some films that I think are just like cinema type things. And he is not as good as everybody gives him credit for. Like,
Well, you know what, Terrence, you make a valid point. I think we should give the Gears of War franchise to someone more deserving, more established, and making like video games, like game movies, like Uwe Boll or something like that. I think he would do a great job with Gears of War. That's the right hands to take the reins of such a coveted series that everyone loves.
I want to hear
Yeah, 'cause
Scorsese ask what the fuck a locust is.
he killed with Dungeon Siege and Blood Rain, man.
Blood
So,
Rain.
Oh, yeah.
Oh God, yo,
Cinematic
House of the Dead.
masterpieces.
House of the
Motherfucker,
Dead.
God.
motherfucker made
Yep,
Alone in
House
the
of the Dead.
Dark with Christian Slater. I mean,
I was asleep
that was
twice
Tara
during that
Reid.
movie.
Was that Tara Reid in that one?
Tara Reid was in that movie.
Yeah. Oh, I was so. Oh my God. Oh, that guy.
You know they made a sequel to that movie, right?
probably. They
I
made a
did
sequel to
not.
Blood Rain too, didn't they?
Yeah,
I didn't know they did that.
Maybe.
Wow.
Dude, there's so many movies out there you don't know exist. Like, there's a Tekken movie.
There is a Tech
I've
movie.
seen that.
Yep, there's a
I've seen
King
that.
of
King of
Fighters.
Fighters
There's a
movie.
King of
I have
Fighters
the King
movie.
of Fighters movie.
Double Dragon
There's a
movie.
Dead or Alive movie. I've
That-
seen Double Dragon recently.
That Dead or
The,
Alive
one with Alyssa
movie
Milano.
is. Oof.
Yeah, it's
Also,
not,
that's
yeah.
that's also evil, isn't it? Dead or Alive?
No.
No.
Is it not?
That was
Oh,
It's
okay.
got Jamie Presley in it, right?
Yep.
Oh,
It does.
Yeah.
And Kevin Nash is in it as bass.
That's right,
Yep.
Kevin Nash, yeah.
Yep. It's wild. All right. Xbox CMO Jarrett West says that Starfield will be the start of a content flow of Xbox first-party titles. About fucking time.
How many times have we been hearing shit like
I
that, though?
Thank you, my brother, because I was going to say that. Thank you.
His quote is, This is, in my mind, the doorway, almost like a starting gun to what I think is going to be a multi-year relay race of first-party titles.
You know what
Oh
would have
my
been a
God.
great time for that? When you release the console. Jesus Christ. What is wrong with you?
What's after Starfield? What's the second game of this?
Forza.
Supposedly.
I don't
yearly
care about Forza. I understand that
I
it's
don't
going to be a
either.
good game,
Kingo.
but I don't care. What's the next?
Did you just say Kingo,
Right.
like Master of Bushido? Is that what
No,
you
I said Pingo.
Oh, I thought you said Kingo. I was like, are we going back? Let's go back. I'm okay with that.
I was about to say, I'll play that. Okay.
Microsoft plans to sell off cloud gaming rights for Activision Blizzard games to Ubisoft. Ubisoft plans to bring the games to Ubisoft Plus, Luna, and PlayStation Plus. The deal goes over the next 15 years. The cloud deal with Ubisoft changed a lot, and the CMA decided the new end date for Phase 1 investigation is now October 18th.
Bold of Ubisoft to think that Ubisoft Plus is still going to be a thing in 15 years.
It's bold to think that
Right.
Ubisoft will be a thing in 15 years.
They
'cause
will-
last
they
time
will,
I
they
checked,
will.
they were wanting to
You know-
sell out to somebody.
You know what the long game is here? Microsoft sold it to Ubisoft. You notice how fast that was? As soon as the Activision Blizzard deal goes through, Microsoft's going to be like, we're buying Ubisoft.
That's exactly what's going to happen. Like, I think that, I don't think it's going to be as quick as you saying, but I think that's the long game here.
Yeah, I
Like,
think
I
they'll
can see
buy
that.
them within the next 15 years.
Because
Absolutely.
Ubisoft has been shopping themselves around anyway. So, I could see that.
That was probably in part of the behind-the-scenes deals. They're like, Phil's like, hey,
Yep.
hey, Eves, in 2 years we're just going to buy you. And he's like, oh, that would be wonderful.
Right.
Would it be crazy if Nintendo bought Ubisoft instead? After the partnership with the Mario and Rabbids thing seems to work out pretty well for them.
I mean, after that
Nintendo's
second
got the money.
game, they probably don't want to buy them. I mean,
Was it bad?
I mean, that game wasn't bad, was it?
One.
I don't know.
Was the second one bad?
Nobody cared. Like,
No,
Oh,
those games are
yeah.
fine. They're fine.
Yeah, it was okay. The first one was just
it's
okay.
just fine. But Nintendo doesn't buy publishers. You know that.
Mm.
They're above all that.
Yeah,
No,
Nintendo's
we're-
like, we don't,
They don't
you.
need to. If I said they
Right.
don't need to, they make hand over fist.
Nintendo's standing over there like everybody's like arguing over Call of Duty. Like, motherfucker, we ain't even got it. We out selling your ass.
It's true.
Right.
Guys, just imagine the possibility of Switch exclusive Assassin's Creed games going forward. It's going to be amazing.
I don't want to play that Assassin's Creed at 12
Oh,
frames a
man.
second. Sorry.
I would love to hear Riot's take on that. Yeah, nobody wants to play that at 12 frames a second. man.
I'm putting some evil into the world that Ryan's not going to be happy about, so I'm glad he's not here
Right.
to say anything.
All
I
right.
mean, Nintendo's next console really has to be like comparable to like PlayStation 5 and
No.
Xbox, right?
No,
It's still
no.
going to be portable, Drew, so it's going to be very difficult for
I
them
bet
to do
it's
that.
it's equivalent to like PS4 at
I
best.
just, man,
Yeah, PS4 Pro probably
Yeah,
levels,
at
if
best.
you're lucky, yeah.
It didn't hurt them this gen. Why would it hurt them next gen?
I know that, but I mean, man, sometimes your games just run like garbage.
And nobody cares.
They do.
I do.
The Witcher sold a
I
fuck
do.
ton, and it ran at 30 frames per second and was choppy and missing stuff, and it's just like nobody cares.
I'll be honest with you, the worst looking game I've played on the Switch was probably Doom Eternal.
I mean, it does look pretty bad.
It looks horrible.
I mean, ugh. Anyway, PC Game Pass coming to GeForce Now this Thursday. Includes first-party titles and third-party titles, including No Man's Sky. Xbox announced console wraps, which is just such a bad name. It's like it's got the
Console
taco
wraps sounds like somebody walking out with like baggy pants from like the 90s, Jenko jeans or some shit.
Yeah, it sounds. It
Yeah,
reminds me
I
of
don't-
like
doesn't-
Taco Bell. Like we're getting a wrap.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I prefer my Xbox in a bowl instead of a wrap. It's less calories, you know what I mean? Like less
Yeah.
carbs, so it's, yeah.
What
They're
exactly is this wrap thing?
so it's just like you ever seen Trapper Keeper?
Yeah.
Like kind of think of that, but
Like
it wraps
that.
around your console.
Wrap around your system.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's just skin.
Basically a
That's
skin.
not
It's not a
skin to it.
it's not a
Yeah.
sticker.
It's a car wrap.
Yeah, it's not a
Yeah.
sticker. It's like an actual wrap. It looks nice, but it's $50.
What?
Or what
Yeah,
is a
like-
glorified sticker, to be honest with you? So it's like,
Right. Like it's
kinda
magnetic or
pricey.
whatever, but like that's a lot, man. Jesus.
Is it going to make the console hotter because it already
No,
gets hot enough as it is?
It doesn't wrap around the fans.
Okay.
imagine if it did. It'd be so funny.
Yeah,
You have to like
Right.
carve out where the fans go.
the back of it looks like if you're wearing a hospital gown, like it's open.
Yep. Yeah.
Phil Spencer said he doesn't see a future where they discontinue support of the Series S or that the Series S misses out on some titles.
Really wish you did.
Yeah, you're screwing up there, Phil.
Yeah.
What else we got here? Baldur's Gate 3 is coming to Xbox this year, but without split-screen co-op for Series S, but it does have cross-save progression between Xbox and Steam.
I'm glad they're compromising on this, by the way, because they are putting way too much pressure on the devs to do something on the system that's much less powerful and have the same feature set on the more powerful versions, and that's not fair to the developers, I think, for a promise that they made without really comprehending the consequences of it. So I'm glad they're compromising on that area, and I hope they continue to do so in the future.
Yep, my wife was excited. She asked about playing Baldur's Gate. She asked me if I had it, and I was like, no, Terrence reviewed it. And then she's like, well, and I was like, but it isn't even on Xbox, so you can't play it. So,
Soon.
but
Yeah.
now it's coming.
Sounds
So
like people start
she's-
another campaign.
yeah, she's excited. She's gonna play that. That's just not my jam. So that's going on the living room Xbox. Not for me.
Man, that's so good though.
Oh yeah, I'll play that campaign.
so-
Laura.
so
It was a
good.
time.
Prince will rise again.
What
How
we
can
got?
how can you be a huge fan of Dragon Age and not be that, not like this?
I don't know. I didn't like Divinity 1 or 2.
Mm.
Maybe it's just my age. Like when I played Dragon Age, that's a long time ago, Drew. I was a different gamer back then. If I played Dragon Age 1 today, I may not like it. I don't know.
No.
Releases: Bloomtown, A Different Story, coming to consoles and PC Q2 2024. Tiny Glade 2024 on Steam. Eternites September 12th, PS4 and PC. Dome King Cabbage coming soon to Switch and PC. Symphonia coming console and PC in 2024. Tormented Souls 2 was announced for everything. That first game is pretty good. If you haven't played it and you like old school Resident Evil, you should check it out.
Okay.
Warhammer 40k Darktide finally coming to Xbox on October 4th. Took forever.
It did, yeah. At least it's coming with all the updates too. Like,
well, I'd hope so.
They're overhauling. Well, I mean, right? They're overhauling the progression system and the unlocks and stuff. So it's all that stuff is going to launch on Xbox too, which is nice. They'll get the better version of the game. But yeah, that fucking took forever.
Dune Spice Wars hits 1.0 on September on PC. Hellboy Web of Weird launches October 4th. Broken Sword, Parzival Stone, and Broken Sword Shadow of the Templars Reforged were announced for console, mobile, and PC. SteamWorld Build coming December 1st to Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, PC, and Game Pass. Worldless launches October 4th. Persona 3 Reload February 2nd, 2024.
Oh, hell yeah, baby. I'm so ready for that game.
Yep.
That was this year.
Nope. Next February is also coming to Game Pass.
Yep.
House Flipper 2 launching December 14th. Oh man, best thing to come out of Gamescom. I'm not even joking. Night Dive announced 2 new remasters: Dark Forces Star Wars Remastered, and Turok 3 Shadow of Oblivion. Finally.
Did they show like a gameplay footage of Turok 3 or just an announcement?
No, they showed it. They showed it playing. It's out November 14th.
I'll have to check out the trailer. Nice.
Streets of Rogue 2 launching in 2024 on Early Access on Steam. Mandragora launches 2024 on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. Lisfang, the Time Shift Warrior, launches early 2024. Bulletstorm VR launching December 14th.
No one needs that.
Nobody's needed Bulletstorm since it came out.
I love Bulletstorm.
It's a great game, but we only needed one game.
Yeah, let it die. Well, you know what? I'm okay with making a new game, but they have now reissued this game twice.
Yep.
Yeah.
The second part of Sea of Thieves, Legend of Monkey Island, the Quest for Guybrush, launches August 31st. That's on Friday. Homeworld 3 launching in early 2024. Delta Force announced for Xbox, PlayStation, PC, and mobile. Warhammer Age of Sigmar Realms of Ruin coming to PS5, Xbox, and PC. Seventh Guest VR launching October 19th. Tekken 8 has a release date of January 26th. Thank God it's not in 2023. Thank God.
Yeah, I'm glad actually.
Age of Empires 4 Shadow dropped on Xbox and Game Pass this week. Killing Floor 3 was announced for PS5 Series, Xbox Series, and PC. Little Nightmares 3 was announced, launching in 2024, made by... What's the name of the studio?
Supermassive, right?
Yeah, Supermassive Games.
I don't know.
Those games, have y'all played those?
I love Little Nightmares.
Yeah, they're great.
I played both, yeah, they're great.
Okay.
My issue is why isn't Tarsier doing the third game?
Yes.
Excellent question.
It is weird that Supermassive is making a Little Nightmares game.
And is it gonna be like the other Little Nightmares games, or is it now gonna be?
No, they show a little bit of footage. It's gonna be like the other Little Nightmare games for sure.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, it absolutely looked like Little
co-op,
Nightmares.
isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's co-op because
co-op?
there's two characters. Yeah.
Okay.
I love Tarsier. I've loved 90% of the games they have put out. So I don't know. It's very kind of
Sonic Superstars launches October 17th. Sonic Frontiers, the final Horizon update, launches September 28th. A lot of Sonic.
Super Saiyan Sonic.
Grand Blue Fantasy Relink launches February 1st, 2024.
Finally.
Nightingale launches February 22nd. Diablo 4 Season of Blood Season 2 launches October 17th.
Man,
It was weird
about that.
Yeah, it's weird that they announced the second season while they still have like a month and a half left of their first season.
Yeah.
It might be because the reception of the first season hasn't been very good in terms of the fan response and the lack of content and stuff like that. So maybe they want to try to revitalize their, I guess, interest in the series. Because like Drew said, like Drew and I, like we're like huge Diablo fans. Like one of the most important games of our lives, right? Right, Drew? Like in terms of like the series impact and stuff like that. Yeah. To think that like us and many other people just like us are having this kind of like whole home response to Diablo kind of speaks to a lot of where Diablo 4 is in terms of its like longevity, right? Because the game is fine on its single first playthrough, but outside of that, like going past like level 50 into the other world tiers and the itemization, all this stuff and activities is really lacking. So I think they still have plenty of time to turn things around, but as it is now, the game isn't really that much fun to play after you beat it like once.
It's crazy. I never even finished it. Like I fell off of it hard.
Yeah. Exactly.
Aura History Untold launches in 2024, coming to Game Pass day one. Expeditions, a Mud Runner game, is launching in 2024 for Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, and PC. And finally, Dustborn launches early 2024 for Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. Oh wait, no, that wasn't the end. There's a second page. Gee, man, Gamescom, tons of games, dude.
Yeah.
Humankind console version out now. El Paso Elsewhere launching September 26th. I Am 8-Bit will publish a physical version of Sea of Stars for everything in early 2024. Dungeons 4, I can't believe they've made 4 of these games, launching November 9th, coming to Game Pass day one. Those games are weird, man.
Yeah.
The Naruto game with the long-ass name, Naruto X Boruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Connection, launches November 17th. The Invincible launches November 6th. Ghost Runner 2 launches October 26th. Terrence's new favorite game, Fight Crab 2, launches this winter in early access.
I'm excited.
I'm going to get that, because that, yeah.
The first one was a good time.
I was going to say, did you play the first one, Terrence?
I didn't, but I watched, like I saw it on Steam, like, and I saw some videos, and I was like, damn, this actually it looks fun. Chaotic fun is what it looks like.
My son played the shit out of that game for like a month and a half and then just stopped.
Oh, damn.
Alright, The Invincible launching November 9th or 6th. Ghost Runner 2, October 26th. Oh, I already said these. I'm sorry, I got lost in my thing. Frog Detective, The Entire Mystery is coming soon. Coming to Game Pass.
Oh, those games are fun, by the way. If you're in for like an hour, like a 2-hour like gameplay of just really fun writing and like clever dialogue and stuff like that, you should check those out. They're good.
Citizen Sleeper 2, Star Wars Vector is coming to Game Pass day one. Pigeon Simulator is launching in early access, coming to everything and also Game Pass. Jusant, October 31st, coming to everything except Switch and launching on Game Pass. Wandering Sword launches September 15th. Headbangers launching October 31st. And Call of the Wild, The Angler, coming to Xbox and PlayStation on August 30th. It's already out on PC. Some Gamescom news. Retrieval was announced for PS5. Chicken Police Into the Hive announced for PC. Ooh, I'm not even going to attempt to say the name of this game. Or this developer. Bildund Tofanbrick Tuberbrook.
Okay.
Announced Constance for PC. Project Mugen, or Mugen, coming to PS4, mobile, PS4, PS5, mobile, and PC. Cloverbyte announced Grime 2, and NVIDIA announced that Half-Life 2 RTX, an RTX Remix project.
I saw a little bit of footage on that. The visual improvements certainly do look very nice, but if it's gonna run like the original Portal RTX project did, then I don't know, it might need some time to cook. 'Cause man, the Portal RTX was a tough run on even like decent PCs.
All right, delays. We've got Europa delayed to 2024. Stalker 2 again delayed till the first half of 2024. Hyperlight Breaker early access delayed to 2024. My Time at Sandrock delayed to November 2nd. That Xbox indie game everybody talks about, Replaced, was delayed till 2024. Pacific Drive delayed to 2024. Phasmophobia console version has been delayed to October. And The Time I Have Left delayed to 2024.
Dang.
Yep.
Yeah, let it cook, man. We got enough for 2023.
Yeah, it's okay to delay to 2024 at this point.
Absolutely.
Certain Affinity is working on a new FPS called Project Lobo. BioWare has laid off 50 people. Which
that bodes poorly for what's their next game? Is it Mass Effect?
It's Dragon Age, and apparently Mass Effect is going to be so far pushed out now because they pulled people off of Mass Effect to try to finish Dragon Age. Dragon Age was originally supposed to be out this year, and now it's been pushed to late 2024, if not later.
Yeah, my expectation for BioWare is at like rock bottom right now. If they come out with like a competent, like decent game, that would be surprising to me at this point, which makes me sad.
Yep. What else we got here? I'm going to skip through most of this. All the changes for Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty are also coming to the base game for free on current gen and PC. The canceled Immortals Phoenix Rising sequel was a mix between Wind Waker and Elden Ring.
That sucks, man. I know you really liked that first game, Ken.
I did. I was excited for a sequel. And Ponkel confirmed the existence of Vampire Survivors Director's Cut, and it will be part of the main game in the future.
Sure.
Super Bomberman R2 cross Fall Guys, so Fall Guys getting another crossover. Free Cult of the Lamb crossover with Don't Starve together crossover is out now. New No Man's Sky update called Echoes is out now. Behavior Interactive acquired Dutch gaming studio called Code Glue. Rod Ferguson said Diablo 4 has over 12 million players. Texas Chainsaw hit 1 million players, and Star Citizen has raised $600 million from its backers since their crowdfunding in 2012.
2012. Wow.
2012. That is fucking bananas.
I get the backer in this game, and you've sunk enough money and hours into the game. There's like a what's a sunk cost fallacy there that prevents you from calling it for a game that looks like it may never fully finish.
Jay, you're just a naysayer. You just don't have hope. If you pour $10,000 more into this, Jay, it'll surely come out. Jay, trust me.
Trust.
Right?
Trust.
Also,
you should be like, trust me, I'm Canadian. That's how
also. I was gonna say. Also, I have this great crypto that you should invest in.
100%.
Yeah.
All right. I have 3 emails we're gonna go through, and then a couple tweets, and then we can get out of here. I was trying to move through the news fast because I know we talked a lot about games, which is good. But I do want to get to these emails because they are pertinent to the conversation from last week. So Jeremy wrote in and said, "Hey guys, I wanted to shoot a message over to Anthony. No need to read this on the air unless you want to, but we want to. But hearing the tweet..."
I want to note, I was the one that said, "Oh, that's very nice," and then somebody else said, "We'll read it on the air."
Yes, because Jeremy's listened to the show for a long time, and he just wanted to
I recognize the name.
He says, "But hearing that tweet hurt my heart a bit. I hope you continue to be yourself. Your addition to the show has been great, so I wanted to say thank you. I look forward to the show every week. Keep being badass from one tall, lanky dude to another."
We got solidarity between people that can't find clothes that fit.
Tall, lanky dudes together strong. Yep.
Next email comes from Anano Mouse. from Gamer Chat Radio. He says, I'd like to comment regarding the conversation from last week's The Angry Canadian Kid email. I'm a long-time listener before Ryan and Kid had kids. So for 13 plus years, Anthony does have good comments, albeit on some strange, unknown games. But he does add good commentary and makes the show a good blend. I don't really feel he is angry and interrupts others excessively, but he makes himself sound pretty immature by saying the F word 1,000 times and repeating that he is high.
You know what? Here's the reason why I do that. My fear is that I'm gonna say something and not know that I said it. So I'm just putting it out there when I am like, hey, lower your expectations of me. I know that you can't lower them more.
He does say from your rebuttal at the end, it sounds like you do take criticism to improve, so I do hope you take this to heart as well. Happy belated. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I know, like I said last week, not to reiterate because no one wants to hear it, but I know that I swear too much, and I know, like, I can pinpoint where that problem started. And the problem is that I've done it for so long, it's hard to undo the mess that has been created, too many years ago to count. Over 20. So it's just, I know that the swearing's much, and I'm trying to, and then I stumble sometimes. But, yeah.
To quote a great classic movie, fuck, fuckity, fuck, fuck, fuck.
Sorry.
All right.
Maybe I was supposed to laugh. I apologize.
I watched it. Do you remember that from the South Park movie?
I do.
It's like you can't swear. It's like you can't swear. What? Fuck, fuckity, fuck, fuck, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. He also says happy belated 17-year anniversary, guys. What a ride. And speaking about the angry redneck, I do hope Drew's new job settles down so he can be on the show more often. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Drew's
Thanks
not
for
gonna
the
say anything.
insightful commentary and reply to your listeners, Drew. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks,
I
Drew.
appreciate it too.
We need a Drew sound clip where it says "Yep" or something like that, so we can just play it.
That's
Not
it.
here.
Yes. That's what
Yeah.
I think we need to cut out. We need 2 audio clips from Drew. We need to just listen to any episode of Phoenix Down where he goes, "This is Drew," and we'll just use that when we're introducing the show, and then we'll just have "Yep."
Just put that in there. There you go. All right.
All right. Next email comes from Francisco, who sent the monitor, by the way, which I did get it out of the box. I realized it's way too big for me, so Terrence is going to inherit that monitor, so I hope you enjoy it.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, that it did arrive. He says, hello, everybody. Just wanted to set the record straight. The angry Canadian kid, Anthony, is a staple of the podcast. In fact, I think he is too calm nowadays. I miss the explosive rants. Whatever drugs you do to calm down, do the opposite. I need the fire, the anger, the passion. In all seriousness.
I'm sorry. I'm on push to talk. I'm on push to talk now, and I was laughing without holding the button. Sorry. That's great, but I just don't have enough to get angry about.
Don't worry, Terrence. You're in this email too. Just saying.
Oh, shoot.
He says, in all seriousness, you guys are my favorite podcast. All your perspectives are very good and accurate. All of you have a love for games that is genuine and not backed or pushed by money, greed, or anything like that. Just love. And of course, no one is going to come after Terrence for using the N-word. Slavery ended in 1865. Get with the program. Plus, where else can I get my weekly dose of the N-word?
I tell you what, my nigga, I appreciate that.
Anyways.
Oh, man.
Anyways, I recently received a few games and reminisced about some of the game endings that really stuck with me. The 3 that I remember, who left?
Drew.
Oh, so that's why he wasn't talking.
Yeah.
He says the 3 that I remember the most are the first time I beat one of my favorite SNES games, Cybernator, as a kid.
I was going to say Snipernator is not a game. I don't.
You don't know?
I would know that one.
You don't know? NES got a magic library.
Snipernator.
He says, as a kid, it blew my mind. Then when I finished the Half-Life series, it left me wanting so much more, and most recently, the Mass Effect trilogy. That series left a hole in my soul when I finished it. I'm hoping Starfield becomes one of those games for me in the coming weeks. Which brings my question, what games have any of you played that have had a lasting impression, good or bad? Thanks for the show. Have a great week.
Oh, okay.
Oh man. I mean, that's so. I don't want to say it's vague. It's just. I feel like there's a lot of answers to that potentially. Like, I think Half-Life is up there just because of how weird that game gets. But I don't know if I can think of anything that's bad that's based on the ending, anyways. I mean, nothing that I haven't said before.
Yeah, I was trying to think of like there's so many games that have left lasting impressions on me. If I had to pick one, it would be Metal Gear Solid. Like that's the one that I can. It's just kind of like a game that it's like my Batman '89. Like there's so many parts of it that I can just quote. That just moments in that game.
I think too, like Metal Gear Solid 3, if you're thinking Metal Gear, I think that's the one that got me the most. When you have obviously it's a forever old game, but when you get the realization of what the boss was truly doing and what it was that you were actually doing on that particular mission and what you ended up doing, in kind of like retrospect, everything that you've done that far and all the preconceptions that you had about this great big antagonist, that's kind of been your nemesis throughout the whole game was just hit me so hard. And then when he refuses to shake like the president's hand and just kind of like walks away, I was like, I feel this, and that's one of the games that I really stuck with me for a very long time. And I still think about it sometimes.
Yeah, I think Metal Gear Solid 1 is big for me for that, but also a lot in Metal Gear Solid 2, like when Snake and Otacon connect back up again. Like that's a big moment in that game for me, especially since you weren't playing as Snake for most of the game.
Yeah, that's true.
I got a one that's I'm gonna spoil Watch Dogs, the first one, not wholly, but enough. Watch Dogs is a story about revenge, and a lot of people didn't like the main character, but the whole point, your character is a bad guy. He robs, he steals money. Like, you are a villain. It's just he's a villain who's stealing from casinos that are run by the mob in Chicago. And so what ends up happening is that the mob thinks he has seen something inside their files because he's a computer hacker, or rather he's the muscle for a computer hacker. And so the idea is that it's all about information control. And so when you find out why the mob tries to kill you and ends up killing your niece, or Aiden's niece, I should say. But anyways, Aiden Pierce is on this journey for revenge, and when he finally finds out what everybody's been fighting over, it's a video of the mayor accidentally killing a prostitute. So it's just that little piece of information, that video that the mob has allowed them to control the mayor. And
it wasn't Mike Hagar, was it?
No.
Okay. Okay.
Mike Hagar doesn't do that. Mike Hagar's good people. It's also the reason why the other gangs, one of the other gangs, has been able to survive in the same city, because they stole the information from the mob. So they're holding the mob. They're blackmailing the mob into being able to operate inside a certain part of the city. So the mob has allowed that because they don't want to be called out for blackmailing the mayor. Your character doesn't know any of this. He never saw that. And it's literally the ending point of that game is finding out that it was all because of people wanting to be in control while you were stealing money. They didn't care about the money. They cared about the information. And what was really brilliant about that game was they really showed you how much information is important, not the currency. That's how you control people. Money can get you so far, but to really have people in like your hands. Like that is what you need. You need blackmail. You need information on these people. And knowing every aspect of somebody's life is that. And it was a great take on social media and the things that we are allowing. And then they totally botched that in 2. And they kind of tried to bring it back in 3, but it's so far off in the future that it doesn't really hit as well. Although there's, and Ken knows this because every time I bring it up, there's one moment in 3 that is like so disturbing. I was like, I'm like, that is a thing everybody who thinks transhumanism is a good idea it should see, because boy, that is a takedown of that. But it's wedged in between other content that I'm going to just say isn't as strong. But like Watch Dogs 1 stuck with me. And it wasn't just because of gameplay, which I thought was interesting, but that story, and everybody that criticizes that game hates it. And I'm like, you're not supposed to like the main character. That's the point. The point is that this character is being forced to learn how much he's fucked up. Sorry, I swore again, but that's literally the point of the story. And it's just, to overlook that because you don't like the character. Well, I hate to say this, but like when you're playing a character that's making jokes but then kills a person, maybe that character is even worse. Like Aiden Pierce isn't trying to kill people just to have fun. But, it's okay for Nathan Drake to shoot 100+ guys because he's charming and witty. It's like weird. So I'm okay with having, like, because I also liked Max Payne. Max Payne is not a good guy.
That's true.
And that's a series too that does the same thing, where I'm just like, wow, these story moments are like insane. So, I'd say Max Payne, Watch Dogs, they're both noir stories, ironically, but those ones have stuck with me.
I
cool.
love Max Payne.
Max Payne's a good game. I'm glad I can play all 3 of those on my Xbox. Because backwards compatible. Yeah. That conversation's come up a lot this week. People are like, we need to be able to have these games. Like, a lot of these games are out there. If you have a PC or you have an Xbox, you can play them.
Yeah, I didn't know about the Otagi one. I didn't realize that had ever made
both of them
to where you could buy it. Yeah, when you said it, I looked it up. I was like, oh, I'll be damned. So I'll be buying both of them. I didn't realize that because those are good.
I played those a few months back. Like they hold up really well. Good games.
Nice, good to hear.
Yes. Yeah, speaking of that, I discovered a website for like My Abandonware or something like that, and that kind of has like downloadable links and playable links in modern PCs that you can like load up that you can't purchase anywhere else. Like games like Chronicles of Riddick, Escape from Butcher Bay, and stuff like that you can't buy on like Steam or anything like that. That you can just basically download the game and you just kind of play it. And they have like a list of games dating from like 1978 to like 2012. So if you're interested in like gaming history and some of the old classic games that these new games are, kind of taking inspiration from, you can just go and grab them and play them for free.
I got down a rabbit hole this week of playing canceled games because the internet has made that possible now.
Yeah,
and
so cool.
Everybody was like, oh, Thrill Kill was the big one back in the day because it was done. But I dug up a build of StarCraft Ghost and played that this week.
Awesome?
I'm really mad that game never came out.
Oh, I'm gonna have to mess with that and see if I can get
Yeah, the frame rate is not good. I'm gonna tell you that.
Okay,
it's one of my favorites, and just because you mentioned canceled games, and not to shift the conversation away from the original point, but the Warcraft point and click.
Oh, the Saturday morning cartoon one.
Yes.
Do you know who that's made by, Ken?
I do, but I don't remember. So
it's made by the CDI people, the Zelda CDI,
right.
Animation Magic or whatever.
Yeah,
that's who made the animations for that game. It's surprisingly way better, but it's like
you can play it. I was playing Sunsoft's Superman prototype, which they had to rename to Sunman. That game is pretty good. Not gonna lie. Huh. Yeah, I dug up a bunch of. I finally got the Dinosaur Planet hacked ROM onto my emulation, my Botacera build. So I'm gonna check that out. Yeah. I played it a little bit before, but I'm gonna check it out now that it's on my build.
I can't think of anything that
the Warcraft one. I remember being so sad that got canceled. Like I was waiting for that game. Oh, I remember that.
Yep.
There's
also
games that.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say there's also a Treasure built Tiny Toons game that I got for the PS2 that I need to check out. I haven't played it yet.
That was released though, wasn't it?
No, it was
I think
canceled.
that might have
it
been
was released on Game Boy, but it wasn't put out. The PS2 version never made it out.
Okay, I thought that game came out, but it was like a Europe or Japan only sort of thing. But maybe I'm wrong. Treasure had a couple games like that, so I wouldn't be surprised if I'm just totally wrong.
That game is done. Like, it's got all the voice work, it's got the endings. Like, it's just done. So I'm gonna check that out this week.
Oh yeah, okay, I'm seeing it here. Yeah, no, my bad. I don't know this game. I know they made something else. Maybe I've got the wrong series.
Well, they made 2 Tiny Toons games. One of them did come out, which was the Game Boy.
Okay, you know what? That's probably where I have to be thinking that. Yeah, I must be thinking that. That's weird. I don't know if I know about the GameCube and PlayStation 2.
Yep, I've got a PlayStation 2 build. I'm gonna check out this week.
All the unreleased games that I want to play don't exist. You know what I mean? Like, they just never have released.
I love the internet nowadays because I get to play that Castlevania build for the Dreamcast that I played at E3, and I can just play it whenever. It's
like, Prey 2 doesn't exist, so there's one that I can't play.
Yeah.
What's the other one that I was looking at this list? An Agent by Rockstar. I can't play that. That doesn't exist. Like, those are all the unreleased games. Of course, those ones can't leak.
Yeah, unfortunately. StarCraft Ghost I didn't know leaked, so it was news to me, but apparently it leaked back in 2019, I think.
I recall that happening, but I don't remember.
It's not, and what's funny is it's not even the Swinging 8 build. It's the Nihilistic build.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's even before the changed developers.
I think I saw a release of that, like, being leaked, but I told myself I wouldn't play it because I don't want to play what was lost and kind of feel regret, you know what I mean? So I just kind of it's better off if I don't experience it at all, kind of deal is what I felt. So I was like, I'll just stay off of it.
I'm far enough removed from it now of being mad that it never came out that I just for my curiosity's sake, I wanted to know, like, what it was. And playing it, I'm like, okay, so I see we haven't quite figured out third-person shooters on the original Xbox era problems with it, but like the concepts are so cool. Like,
I've played a little bit of Glover 2's leaked prototype.
Oh yeah, that's it. That's out there. Yeah,
that's neat. There was definitely some interesting choices being done there that unfortunately we'll never see. I know there was like, I'm looking at Hidden Palace right now. Goemon, Mystical Ninja Goemon Zero, which was a PS2 game that did release, but only in Japan, and the English version was being done by
Working Designs, right?
Working Designs, yeah. And they were basically done, from my understanding. Like, they had the
publisher pulled
promo
out at the
materials.
The publisher pulled out at the last minute, if I remember the story correctly.
Well, it would have been Konami, because Konami owns Mystical Ninja. But yeah, like, what a weird thing to get that far. And it was a series that was known. It wasn't like it was a series that... But that's all Mystical Ninja, for the most part, is like, it starts translating and then nothing. And the same with Mother 1. Mother 1 now is out there.
Yep. All right, let's do 2 tweets and get out of here, because we're running deep. Mookie wants to know, any news about the devs who made Back 4 Blood, what they're doing? I think it was too soon for them to stop updating the game. Such a shame they haven't made a game that sticks as long as the Left 4 Dead series. I have no idea what that team is doing. I would assume an asymmetrical multiplayer game.
That's what everybody's doing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's all they've ever done, right?
I think so.
They did Left 4 Dead, then they did Evolve, and then they did Back 4 Blood. So
how many like abject failures are they allowed to have before they have to disband? Is there like a limit?
It just depends on if somebody's going to give them money to make a game, I guess. I mean, Jade Raymond still has a job, right?
True that.
I had
Chris
this.
Roberts
We had
is
this
still
talk.
working on Star Citizen, you know.
Oh,
I mean, that's
God.
true.
Yeah.
That's true. But that's all y'all's fault that paid for it, you know.
I was gonna say we had this talk
I
last
am
week about how I think this is all just money laundering.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't money launder something if it doesn't sell. Like,
Correct. Yeah, that's the failure.
Yeah, like Back for Blood went
They're
on
bad
Game
at it.
Pass, so I guess they got a bag. I don't know.
No, it wasn't awful. Like Back for Blood wasn't awful, but it wasn't. It didn't set anything on fire. It just.
Yeah.
I played like one session of that with some friends, so I gave it the best chance that it could possibly have. It's not like I play single player, but then we ran into like bugs which reset our progress. We had to do again, and the whole mission structure, the story, and everything just felt like a less interesting and fun version of Left 4 Dead, and kind of like bummed me out.
Yep.
I was like, I don't care about this, and then the cars and all those dumb, so stupid, so unnecessary.
They evolved some of that stuff later, but and it gets better. But yeah, the card thing never changes, and that I think is what turned off a lot of people.
Yeah.
The card stuff, which I totally get, like I understand, but yeah, it just
That was a game of circumstance for me. So we sat down to play it. We were gonna do play it together, my wife and I. And as soon as we booted it up, it crashed on both of our Xboxes, and we just kind of gave up.
Yeah.
That'd be the sign. Like,
Yeah.
I guess the game don't want us to play.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Like, all right, well, I'm done with this. Jeremy writes in, he might have the best name for Twitter. I'm not gonna lie. He says, "Hey guys, I'm giving Twitter/X Twix with a question mark."
Nice. Nice.
Another
I like
shot.
it.
Right or left Twix.
Okay.
That's
see,
good.
Now,
That was
okay.
good.
That was
You
good.
give me nothing. That's fine. That's on you.
Yeah.
All right. I deliver comedy gold, and it's on you if you don't laugh.
He says, "What do you think about Project Hepatitis or whatever Sony's calling the new streaming handheld thing? Locking Bluetooth to just their devices seems pretty Sony-ish. Thanks for the show."
Project Hepatitis.
Okay, yeah, that's wild. Like, who's it for? Right?
That's-
When they sat down and was like, let's make this. Who is that for?
I don't know.
Okay. I'm 90% certain you can just do this with a phone.
Yes, with a backbone and a
Yeah.
phone.
Which
yeah.
means you could do it with a tablet.
Exactly. Because
So
you can your Bluetooth
why?
controller sync to your tablet. So who was this for?
I don't know.
Like, and more importantly, what does this cross off? Like, a portable device? I mean, barely.
Yeah, I think the idea that they're going for, which is shocking if you think about it, is that Steam Deck is kind of like a complementary piece to your Steam account and your Steam platform in general, right? Because you still need Steam, account to play stuff and then kind of do everything. Obviously, it plays it without streaming anything at all, which is the part. But also, it can also do the streaming stuff with Game Pass and all this other stuff. So maybe in some executive board meeting for Sony, they were like, "Well, Steam Deck is increasing like platform retention on Steam and increasing sales for their games because now they have another way that they can play said games they purchased, right? So they can play this game portably. So Sony, in their infinite wisdom, might have said like, well, if we put out a platform that allows people to play PlayStation games portably as well without having to kind of break the bank and go into actually having like real hardware under the belt, then that might be the way to do it. And they kind of lost the point in terms of what the Steam Deck and other platforms of that nature actually provide in terms of their value, and they began to limit it even more and more and more, thinking that it's going to increase the fusion and compatibility between their Sony devices. Maybe this will sell more headsets for Sony because it only allows for Sony-based Bluetooth devices. Maybe it'll sell more PlayStation 5s because you need a PlayStation 5. So I could imagine these dumb peanut-brained executives sitting at a board meeting saying like, "Oh, this is great. This is a great idea. This is going to encourage people to buy more Sony products." And then they just push this out there, not understanding that it's being pushed out there to die miserably. And that's kind of where my head's at. Yeah, that's what it feels like to me.
The executive walks in and goes, "Guys, I have the perfect word: synergy."
Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah. And then one guy who's just doing coke off of a back of a hooker's, whatever.
Right.
Is basically kind of gets up like, I like that word. Give that man money. And then the project goes into. And the thing about it is, like, people that are actually in Sony Entertainment that's actually doing, like, platforms and actually having to deal with actual games and stuff like that will see this as something that is being sent out to fail. But ultimately, when it's being pushed out by the top brass, you have no choice but to push on ahead. That's kind of like what it feels like. I bet internally, Sony laughs about this device. Like... Well, this is the dumbest shit we've ever put out.
It wouldn't shock me because I remember reading the reports that the VR was not a choice that Sony Computer Entertainment wanted to do, but they were forced to do it because they're like, hey, we need this hardware out there.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't shock me if this is something they didn't want to do, but the like you said, the brass is like, yeah, you've got to do this because we need a Steam Deck equivalent.
Yeah. There's a market there that they know that it exists, and instead of doing it in a way where it makes sense, that it actually seems, something that they want to actually go for, they decided to go with this method instead. And it makes me sad because I love the Sony handheld platforms. The PSP, one of the best handhelds ever made. The Vita, fantastic despite its obvious failings. And to see this fucking abomination come out makes it so much less likely that Sony's ever going to enter the portable platform again in earnest, because when they see this fail, they're going to be like, oh, we tried and we failed, there's nothing to be done, the consumers have spoken, despite the fact that they put out a platform or they put out a system that nobody wants and is lacking the features that is desperately needed for a system of a portable nature.
When you mentioned like that they don't want to put in the effort, all I could think of was the Family Guy moment of the $1 Million Man, where he goes, "We have the technology,
we don't want to spend a lot of money."
Yeah, exactly. That's a very good comparison to be made there.
Oh, makes me sad because I didn't care for the PSP and the Vita, but they were quality ass devices.
The Vita was a nicer console, but the PSP had the better library, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind. But then that's when
they got 2 Metal Gear games on there, and I'm talking like just the normal ones, not even Acid, which is my favorite.
At some point out of the show, I'm gonna need you to try to talk me into playing Metal Gear Acid at some point, because
I can do it for you right now. It's Metal Gear, but turn-based, and all your attacks are cards. That's it. Like, do you like card games? Do you like turn-based strategy games? Well, you do all the Metal Gear stuff too. Like, you can knock on walls, and that character, his next turn, will start walking around. It's great. I love it. I'm like, oh, it's more tactical, but you do all the same stuff.
I have both games running on the Steam Deck like really beautifully, and I booted it up, and I played like the tutorial for about 5 minutes. I was like,
I love those games. The first one's a little rougher, for sure. The second one just decides, like, no, we're going off the rails. New art style. This is going to be weird. Like, we are not canon at all. We're not leaning into, like, this is actually Solid Snake. We are just going to go nuts.
I'll give that game series another try, because I love Metal Gear a lot. So
if you want... I totally unrelated, but if you want a really good Metal Gear-esque game... Boktai, specifically Boktai 2, Solar Boy Django. It plays like a mixture of Metal Gear, Solid, or Metal Gear, I guess, in some extent, and Zelda. It's really good. I know
that's a Kojima game, so that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Wait, is that the sun in your hand game?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
The first one's a little rough. The second one, though, like, you have full-on stealth missions where you're knocking on walls and getting enemies, luring them into traps and stuff.
Yeah, it was solid. Yeah, that was pretty good.
All right, y'all. That is it for the show this week. If you wanna Twix at us, it's at ZTGD Podcast. But the better way is to send us an email. It's podcast@ztgd.com. Phoenix Down, as Drew had to jump out. I don't know if we ever mentioned that, but he had to leave. Phoenix Down, Resident Evil, I'd assume they'll be back next week. They weren't up this week, so... and we'll be back next week to talk about Starfield. I know y'all going to want to tune in for that one. Hopefully Wombat will be back, because I know he's been playing it as well, so... We'll talk all about Starfield next week, and probably some other games. But, that's it for the show, unless anybody has anything else.
How do you feed blood to Grandpa? Goddamn.
We'll get out of here. Peace, bitch.
Alrighty. And it goes something like this.